them.
I think you're hearing things because you wanted to hear them. There's
Okay.
no current plan about Nick returning to the table, unfortunately.
That's I thought
A
I might have
shame.
imagined it. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Wishful thinking. I think we all share. No problem there. Okay, folks, let's get back to it. So, all right, let us see. So we had quite an eventful day on Winter's Crest. A number of events occurred, not nonetheless being the Winter's Crest itself, experiencing and enjoying Winter's Crest in Vasselheim, of all places. There was a little fun with necromancy at different points that brought us to life or unlife Gumbo, the inexplicable zombie skeleton wizard thing. And there was also an effort to use necromancy as a means of uh, calling forth Ember's father's soul to commune with him. That didn't go perfectly, but it worked in the end, as the party had intended. The unfortunate thing was that the Raven Queen was a little upset about that. The excessive use of undead on her holy day did incite her anger. She let Glyn off with a warning and Yvain off with a mark. And we will, I'm sure, come back to that in due time. But as the next day came, Finch said a fond farewell as they intend to pursue their fate as, accepting their fate as this sort of chosen messiah of Bahamut, and intends to return to the Platinum Sanctuary, undertaking a new Platinum Oath and seeing where the winds take them. But as of now, Finch Andegard wanders around Vasselheim, and will be accessible for the next couple days if you ever wanted to talk or meet up with them. And leaving Beverly behind, who continue her adventure with Yell of You, if of course you'll allow it. There was also, obviously some anger towards the Raven Queen and her dealings with the party. And so, as Glint goes to try and make contact with this member of the Arcana Panosophical, Ember goes as well to see if he can learn anything about this god. Which is a good point that I wanted to bring up for last session. The fact that she became a god is not common knowledge. I would throw that out there. So, while indeed you might go research, it's not something that anyone might know off the top of their head. The Raven Queen's Ascension. But yes, that is where we'll pick up, and we'll pick up wherever we really want. But Glint and Ember are off to the Cobalt Reserve. Who would like to start us off today on this following Winter's Crest day?
Let me double check my notes, but I'm fine kicking that off. Every time, I swear to God, the name of this wizard, Gloria Ios, there it is.
There it is. Yeah, she's got a fun name. And by fun, I mean complicated. Okay, you're gonna go try and find Gloria Ios. Fantastic. Okay, let's do it. Oh my god. Okay, let's see here.
Eric's cat looks very, very content.
Alright, so I need to open you up. Man, it feels like forever since we've met this.
He's a very happy cat.
Oh.
Okay, what do we got? Cobalt bolts. Oh, fuck you. Sweet. Okay, you guys make your way. Oh, what happened to my computer? There we go. Okay, you guys make your way to where you find an archive not entirely unlike the one that you found in Whitestone, except that it is much larger. This is a big, beautiful, obviously white marble stone structure, though it is quite old still. The age matches the age of this particular city. As you saunter on in, Um, you wander on over there. You see, as ever, a massive store of a repository of knowledge and learning, um, breathtakingly so. More than I think any of you have ever seen, even in Whitestone. This does not quite compare. This is a dense store of lore and knowledge. And you find many blue, cobalt blue robed librarians walking around. And as we know, there's nothing special about these librarians. They're just librarians. They're just monks. They don't do anything particularly cool or spy-like in the background. Yeah, you guys find yourselves here. What would you like to do? Who would you like to approach?
Yeah, as we're approaching basically Nerd Haven, Glint is going to flip through his book for a moment and going to leaf through his spells and cast Sending. And it's going to target Yvain, because she sort of, went up to her quarters the night before, I believe. Was it the last night that the mark happened, or is this the same day?
The mark happened last night, but Yvain went off to bed this morning.
Yeah, we just didn't get together for breakfast, I guess.
Yeah, so I figure in the midst of the depression sleep, Glint would have a little Sending chime into Yvain's consciousness. Hello, Yvain. We're at the Cobalt Reserve, looking for that meeting with Gloria Ios. If you want to come, feel free. We'll hang out a bit.
Yeah, good morning. Absolutely. Just give us a few minutes to, I don't know, slap on some pretty. I'll be there soon. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably gonna look for Zarval, who's gone, because he's like gone before dawn. So shit. I don't know. Where is Zarval? Is he in bed with her?
Yep, that's where we left off.
He was actually where we left off. He was sitting beside her bed the night before, but he may have gotten in.
Okay, so you put something on and you make your way there, and
I know that we're trying to get undergoing, so if I need to go there later, that's fine. But if Yvain and Zar are in a room together, like she's gonna like communicate with him about the day, because I don't know what he wants to do. So like, go ahead and take their stuff first.
Okay, sure. We'll say Yvain might show up later, but Glenn and Ember, you walk in through the door. What's the plan?
Is there like a reception desk or
there's a number of
kiosk?
Yeah. No check-in kiosks, but there are certainly a number of individuals just meandering about. There would be desks that are sort of like almost like the librarian's desk. Yeah, like a where books are brought and handed out and here and there. So yes, they're absolutely.
Yeah. Glint will approach. Hello. Do you happen to have a moment? I have a meeting that I was advised to set up, but I don't know if it's properly on the schedule or if I'm simply jotted down somewhere to be expected. I'm Glint. This is Ember von Zyle. With the Aurora Concordant. We had a meeting potentially with one Gloria Ios.
Oh, sure. She's head down, and we'll just kind of, this curator will just kind of like sure, she'll be probably in her study. Just follow down that hall and take a right.
Oh, delightful, thank you. And she is available. We don't have to wait at all. I wouldn't want to interrupt anything delicate.
I am not her secretary, and she does not have one. She stays here, but as a sort of cursory, advisory individual.
People live here in the library.
The monks do live here, of course. Myself, I'm an archivist after all, and yes, many live here. But you, of course, must be a member or a guest of the Cobalt Soul.
Fascinating. Well, we'll head along, and see if we can get on the same page with her.
Oh, a book pun. Yes, excellent. And he kind of just goes back to work. He just kind of puts his head down like he didn't hear it. Yeah, and you want to head over. Yeah, you make your way along. Are you going with two, Ember?
Yeah.
Yeah, might as well.
Might as well. All right, you guys are gonna go meet this individual. Okay, let's get Gloria Ios ready to go. There all you. Okay, you enter into this room. It is a strangely dark room, but a wide berth of a study. The interior of the study is unlit by candlelight, but nonetheless, it's almost as if, in fact, it is. You would see that there is almost like spinning constellations of stars up in the air, illusory, no doubt, but is creating a sort of blue, bright tone in the room, just enough to be considered bright light in this repository. You see that there are many planets, orbs, what have you, all on these like long, thin, I guess holders you'd call them, just sort of scattered around the room at different positions in the room. There are markings on the floor that are long, large circles. You'd also see a number of them are actually floating around the room and moving here and there. There is a large desk covered in books. Some of them open, some of them closed. Most of them are charts, star charts. And a couple of books actually like float through the air with various mage hands or just by themselves, giving the room a sort of celestial appearance almost. And standing in the middle of the room, you see this young but beautiful woman wearing a long blue robe with a, I guess you'd call it a mantle over her head, sort of covering her hair. Bits of brass and gold decorate. She's lithe and willowed in form. She has circular spectacles and reads some books and almost absent-mindedly, like almost like what looks to be like an illusory star just kind of flits around her fingers. She like reads the book and she seems a little occupied at the moment. She doesn't really notice you come in, though you are pretty much in her eye shot. I'm gonna post a picture of Seer Gloria Ios of the Arcane Panasophic.
Oh, very cool. Big glasses.
Big glasses.
Clint will be quiet for at least a few moments before kind of clearing his throat. Hello?
Hello. I didn't see you there. Apologies. Oh, what a mess. She kind of like does like one of those, and like the various like orbs and planets and books that were floating around her kind of like just haphazardly like move off towards the wall a little bit more. And she kind of like rights herself a little bit. She says, "Good afternoon. Who might you be?"
Oh, it's quite the orrery you have set up, but my name is Glint. This is my friend Ember Van Zyl. I was recommended to come here for a meeting by Alora Vysoren.
How's Allura doing?
Still intense.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense. Well, we'll come on in, I suppose. Did she possibly give you a letter?
I believe so. And Glenn will take a moment to rummage through his things. I think he was given a letter, but I sure didn't.
I think you were given a letter, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there is, and it's pinned to the chat, actually.
Oh, thank goodness. Delightful.
Esteemed members of the Arcana Panasophical. I trust this correspondence finds you in good health. Blah, 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 blah.
And it's pinned in the Zoom chat or the Facebook chat?
Facebook chat.
Okay, I didn't even know you could pin things on Facebook. That's incredible.
Yeah.
You pin
But yeah,
messages.
nonetheless, you hand it over to her. I assume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of curiosity, is Gumbo with you?
Yes, my son is with me.
All right, fantastic. He's got like a Victor cover up going right now. Not quite the Messiah yet. And she'll take a look at it and go. She takes a very brief look at it and kind of hands it back to you. She goes, "Oh, well, good. Yes, please come in, come in. What can I do for you? I suppose. Sorry, I'm a little out of sorts. I was just never mind."
Well, for me personally, I was recently afforded an invitation into a shared academic circle, as it were. And the rest of us, myself included, would also love a chance simply to be able to peruse some of the Cobalt Reserve's tomes and knowledge and the people therein. We're looking for a great deal of information on different topics.
Oh, well, I am not an archivist here. I don't. I'm here, working on some relations with the Cobalt Soul itself, but I myself am not an actual monk, so you'd have to talk to some of the archivists outside.
Understood. Well, in that case, in the actionable, I was invited to the Arcane Penselphical.
Oh, congratulations!
Oh, thank you. Back in Amon, and I was referred to properly visit you and I believe seek some of your wisdom on the matter and perhaps some more information on that.
Oh, certainly, certainly. Very exciting then. Very exciting. By all means, yes. She'll kind of like point in the corner, and a couple of chairs will sort of like pull forth, and she'll say, "Oh, I'm some of my unseen servant today." She'll cast a quick spell, and you'll see some kettles and whatnot begin to start moving around, and she'll sort of sit down. She'll say, "So, okay, yes, let's begin." Fantastic. So, you have joined our wonderful. So you're a guide. That would be your rank. This is incredible. It's wonderful for you. I'm curious. Why did they send you to me, though? I mean, I'm. If you were sent by Allura, I'm quite out of the way.
Had a character. The pin messages aren't loading for me, so I don't even remember the contents of the letter. But I can riff with it.
Let me see if I can't copy and paste it for you.
If you could, it's been so long. Was it for Glenn to like plead his case for necromancy? Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
no.
basically to plead your case. Because I know you've got one from Eskel, but you've got one from Allura as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, yeah, and pin one is the one from Eskel. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good.
I might have it in Tal'Dorei, though. I think I started saving all your documents. Let me go take a little look.
Just to break in, I don't know that Glint was with us when the last time we talked to Eskel.
He wasn't, but
like Zarvolg was sent to see her. I remember that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've been having something of an off and on attempted correspondence for some years with members of your order. I've sent letters and papers underneath my nom de guerre, my pen name, my nom de plume, I suppose, of Grimhelm. And I suppose I wanted to have a discussion with you and yours on the topic of necromancy.
Oh. Well, okay, sure. I expect you understand the truth of magic as far as it concerns necromancy.
I do. I understand the basis of its theory and its application in regards to the restriction and banning of necromancy, and wanted to discuss the potential of appeal or alteration to that.
I see. Goodness. Okay. Well, I mean, the truth of magic doesn't outlaw the theoretical study of necromancy, of course. But you wish to alter that further?
It I think the violations of the truth of magic are largely commonsensical. Destruction and murder, for instance, using magic, those ends, clearly improper, clearly immoral. Breaking of local laws, understandable. You want to not cause an issue or bring conflict with governments to your order. The singling out of necromancy in terms of the animation of the dead, I can understand some of the thoughts behind it, but I think it can be used within a moral framework. And I think that other schools of magic are just as prone to grave violations of morality in terms outside of the truth of magic, that it is strange that necromancy itself suffers this constraint. I think rather the school of study itself should be more widespread and taught morally. Otherwise, if you simply ban it and make it apocryphal, you're simply going to encourage further abuses of it.
I see. This is like a legal philosophy then. Interesting. So this is a concern of the philosophy of crime, law related to crime.
I suppose. I think that as someone who is initially trained to be a necromancer, I was taught a great many things that I would view as abhorrent, but I do not think the animation of dead material into animate form itself is any more moral than, say, the creation of a golem or a construct by binding an elemental force to it. The issue ultimately lies in one of consent, I think, and in some cases permanent damage to the spirit, but not all. If someone were to give the permission to be brought back as a skeleton or a zombie or some other manner of undead in order for a specific purpose, I do not see an issue with that.
Says, well, I'll have to. I suppose I'll have to review my the theory on necromancy to come up to date with it. I think I'll have to do some research. I'll do that, and then maybe we can continue the discussion once I've reacquainted myself with that information.
Of course, and I'd be happy to hold that discussion at a later date. I suppose if I was brought on as a guide, part of my goal is to help teach magic in a safe framework and help make sure that it is being practiced in a responsible way. And heavens know I've strayed on that myself in the past and at times more recently, but I'd rather pass on the right lessons.
I see. Well, the world needs, sometimes the world needs changing. Sometimes things need changing. We'll have to look into that. I know that I mean, I don't specialize in necromancy by any measure. I'm a seer after all, but I can do a little work and see what the thought is. It's quite an undertaking you've put upon yourself, especially considering the thoughts of the Raven Queen being one of the prime deities, it's immediately makes it difficult. We have like basically pitting ourselves against an entire religion by allowing such a thing.
Do you think that all religions, simply by virtue of having a divinity assigned them, should be viewed as universally correct?
Well, again, I am not a cleric or a priest in any way, but I am told the Raven Queen did a lot of good stuff for people and has continued to do so.
She did.
So,
and I am certain that as a divinity, she is incredibly wise. Oh, go ahead.
Ember is going to stand up and walk out of the room, just red, livid, out of the room. And if there's a door, it will get slammed behind him on the way out.
Immediately, at this, Gloria was already looking a little uncomfortable, very clearly. It's like, oh, you want to talk about rewriting the truth of magic concerning necromancy? And then this sort of display thing, or like, she's like very like, this is one of the more awkward walk-ins she's ever had, probably.
Gotta love office hours.
My cohort and I are currently in a state of somewhat high stress regarding the edicts of the Raven Queen.
Oh. Okay.
I do not wish to argue the wisdom of the gods or their knowledge or the width and breadth of their sight, but I do understand, as I understand it at least, that gods are bound to a divine portfolio. And I do think that much as humans are bound to their own flaws of view, that so are deities narrowed in their perception to represent what they are tied to.
Okay. Well, wow. You guys are very forward. Sorry,
I've been writing letters for 10 years.
I gotcha. So Allura sent you to this is.
For your sins and mine, yes.
Okay, great. She'll take the letter again. You'll see her kind of like look at you, kind of like stuff her hand in a bag, kind of like toss on the table a number of bones. She kind of like looks at the bones and kind of puts them away, and she goes, "Yeah. So I'm gonna give this back to you. I'm gonna go take a little look at my books, and then probably do a couple sendings, and maybe we'll talk again later in the week."
You just augury me.
Yes.
What do the bones say?
They say that you're nice.
Are you telling me the truth right now? I mean, you can tell me. I won't be offended.
I am so uncomfortable. Could we do this later?
Sure. I'm just asking. You just pulled out the bones and tossed them on the table in front of me. So I mean, it's a little bit of a weird move, It's
Okay, great. Can you get out of my office now, please?
Oh, sure. Well, I'll be around. We'll be talking with the archivists for most of the day. So, if you step out on your lunch break, I promise I'm not stalking you.
Okay, thank you for that piece of information. It's nice talking to you. Goodbye.
Come along, Gumbo.
And he's like, and he'll just stalk out with you. And you leave one of the makers that you need to convince. Very, very uncomfortable. And it reminds you of your many previous instances of trying to appeal to the arcane panoptical.
All right.
Could have gone better. Could have gone a little.
Yeah, could have gone better.
It's not over. It's not over, but what are you doing, Ember? As Gloria drops all decorum and just tries to escape the situation as quick as possible.
I have no idea. This is not my place. I'm gonna angry walk around.
You stomp around. Um, yeah, you draw a couple eyes, none from the monks themselves, but maybe some people who are reading kind of look a little like, oh, what's his deal? And kind of go back to reading. Certainly nobody catches your eye or tries to in any way. You maybe see some people kind of like out of the side of their eye, just a little curious as you do your best to cool off. And eventually, maybe once after a couple of paces back and forth, a couple of rounds back and forth, Glint, you do step out to see Ember.
Is Ember doing the Acme steam out the ears kind of fire genasi fume? Or...
He's probably had enough time to grate the enamel off his teeth, so
yeah.
He's probably a little bit better.
Yeah. Going to sidle enough. Word of caution. Libraries are typically full of books, which, as it turns out, are made largely out of wood.
I've been to the library in Western. I'm aware.
Sorry, I know things are a little muddled, muddy.
It's
are you all right?
It's all right. Oh, no, but that in itself is all right.
Beyond the slow cooker simmer of infuriation. Well, I'm happy to kick around here a while and continue to be an inconvenience.
I need to understand. Can I? And then if I can, where do I go to find more information? Because I don't have enough.
Right. Well, let's see if we can grab one of the archivists. They're probably whoever's having the biggest hat on their head right now. So, that always works for me in holy places. So let's see if we can find someone important looking, and see if we can get permission to go through some of the more accessible tomes.
Ember will literally look for somebody with a very large hat.
It is. There are not many monks who wear hats, unfortunately. But I'll say that you see one that is like darker skinned, like more tanny skin, like very unusual ethnicity for the climate, and does actually have like a turban on, and is sitting at one of these desks, one of these what are they called, archivist desks.
Like a scribe's desk?
A scrivener's desk.
One of the curators. This was a curator's desk. Or, sorry, archivists. So one of the archivists who are responsible for the organization of the books. You gonna go talk to him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you head over to him, and he's like putting some books on a shelf, and he'll turn to you, and he is going to say, "Be pleased. How are you today?"
Good morning.
Good morning. How could I help you today?
My name is Ember, and I am wondering what the process is to gain access to some parts of the library. I have a couple of research topics that I need to learn some more about, and this is the greatest warehouse of knowledge anywhere.
That is, it's fair. Yes, all are welcome into our public stores. You just simply need to be accompanied by one of the monks to ensure that the library is treated with respect. But yes, we could assign a monk to you, and you may feel free to peruse our public works.
That would be fantastic.
Very well. Come over here, and I'll get you set up. You as well, Sir Dwarf, as well, if you wish.
You. Of course, I'd be happy to. I mean, this is the biggest library I've ever been in, and I've been in a few.
Indeed, indeed. Yes, right over here. And he will take you aside. And yeah, he's going to assign two monks who are certainly have smaller hats, but also in regalia are a little bit more simple. But they wear the cobalt blue simple robes. And assign a monk to each of you to essentially just like aid you around the library, point you in the right direction, help you carry your books, and essentially make sure you're not trying to steal any of their books. It's probably also why they're there. Yeah, and and so with that, with your assigned Cobalt Soul members, I'll say at this time, Yvain, you will show up and walk through the door and see Glenn. Oh no, you're just not coming at all.
Oh,
There were things that I wanted to do before coming to the library, and I wanted the opportunity to talk to Zarvolg. Like,
Okay.
Is it okay if we walk it back and just
Sure.
don't meet at the library right now? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna mess things up.
It's all good. It's all good. So we'll come back to Ember and Glint, and yeah, take it away, Yvain.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you wanted to speak that night before we fell asleep, but I know that what Yvain had wanted to do is to wake up early, maybe not set an alarm sort of early, but not sleep in and actually write the report because she's had her pen going, doing all of the reports of everything that happened in Western above the table. She's never actually been paid for anything, so she's just going to turn in all of the stuff that she's been turning in, figuring that at some point they're going to be like, oh, hey, we should pay you. She will also never say anything about it.
Right. So just so you know, we are picking up from post-morning conversation where you presented the mark to.
So I thought that was that night.
So you got it that night. Then
it was
you all
that
went
morning.
back and you all went to sleep. You all woke up. You had a big long conversation about that and Finch's leaving. And then you went upstairs to go to bed. So that's where we're picking things up, where you and Zarvolg are in the room together.
Yeah, right. So, and that's what I don't understand. I thought all of that happened before they went to bed. Does that make sense?
No. Yes. No, that happened the next morning.
Okay. So I apologize for not understanding where we were in the timeline. Because
no worries.
I was that morning I would have liked to have woken up and written out the report of like everything that had happened since getting to Isilra, with everything else that Roxy has been doing by hand to give.
But I understand, but we're going to pick it up where we left off last session. I'm sorry that you missed that part of the chronology, but we're going to pick up from here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just a little lost. Can you just move on? I'm so sorry.
Okay. No problem.
Give me a moment to get my bearings. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. There's no worries. No worries at all. Do we want to hit? So Zarvolg, you're hanging out with Yvain. You wish to continue to do so?
Yeah, I'll just do that for now. I'll pick up when.
Okay, understood. Nix, did you have anything to do? So everybody kind of gets up and scatters to go here and there.
Well, so Nix wasn't there for the whole.
That's true.
I don't think Nix ever made an appearance.
That's right. I had you bounding off with a certain cat.
Yeah.
So you weren't aware of any of the events that have occurred up until this point, other than So you missed all of last session, in game and out of game. So I'll say at this point, everyone begins to sort of scatter and go their own ways, and we'll say a couple minutes after Ember and Glint left, Nix, you come bounding in happy as can be because Wintercrest is great, and you've got your cat with you. Is there anything that you would like to do around Vasselheim, or anyone you'd like to talk to? Anything at all?
No, I feel like Nix would probably intend to meet up with everybody, but I guess they missed the mark on that. I guess they might look around and see if anyone's there.
Yeah, you head into the breakfast room, and for whatever reason, it seems that they've all scattered like earlier than usual, and you're like, that's weird. Yeah, everyone seems to have already scattered, like they had like a really early lunch and they kind of scattered away.
Let's see. I guess Nyx would probably be like, it's been a while since I checked in with everyone, so maybe would do a sending.
Sure.
Probably to Glint, just to be like, hey, where's everybody at?
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic.
Let's see.
What would you say?
So let's see. So hi there. I haven't actually talked in. Oh wait, how many words is it? Fuck. Sorry. How many words is it?
It's 25.
It's 25. I'm sorry. I mean, how many was I allowed? So
I'm gonna say. Nick says that, and so this goes like, "Hey, how's it like that? Ah, shit," and now you got 15 words left. You're like, wait, this has how many words? How many words? 25. Ah, shit, and then you got like 15 words left.
How's it going? I haven't seen you in a while. Where is everyone? That's it.
Very hello, fellow kids energy. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, fellow kids. Yes. So Glenn, we'll say that as your, we'll say that as you're like walking out of Gloria's office, you get the sending.
Glenn hears a crisis in his head. Oh, hello, Nyx. Ember and I are at the Cobalt Reserve. Meeting going well. Yvain, Zarvolg, still at tavern. May come by later. Already sent Yvain. Good luck.
Ooh.
Oh, the good luck. Oh my. That sounded very foreboding.
Your cat hops up onto the table and kind of like sits and says, "Where are these elusive friends of yours?"
Apparently, they went to meet someone. Would you be interested in coming along?
Oh, yes, of course.
So they're gonna skedaddle over to where Glint and Ember are.
Okay. Yep, you just make your way through town, and your cat sort of keeps right at your foot and sort of speaks to you a little bit, and it's just like looking at the hustle bustle and says, "This is a good enough world, I suppose." You come into we'll say that as the doors open, it's Nyx that you see coming through the doors, Ember and Glint, as your monks have been assigned to you.
Hello.
Hello.
You hear a shh, Nyx.
Come on over here.
I'm sorry, I missed that I should be quiet in the library.
Oh, no,
I forgot.
You're fine. It's good to be excited whenever you're in a library. Honestly, I think it's a little silly to want everyone to be quiet. It's not like the books are going to fall apart because you go woohoo, but how's it going? Did you find Yvain yet? She's sort of going through it.
Whoa, really? What did I miss?
Oh, a god touched her face, and now she's mocked. If she dies for real.
This is not good.
Yeah,
oh my.
I'm trying to talk necromancy with a member of a secret arcane society.
I should probably not wander. I've missed out on a lot.
Oh no, it's fine. And also, time briefly stopped the other night, and I was visited by a raven. And then the Raven Queen, and Ember and I are currently looking for knowledge in the greatest library in the world. You're welcome to come with us on this little scavenger hunt we have going. I think Zarvolg is helping make sure Yvain doesn't spiral. Spending time with her. She's, again, going through it. Also finished the party to kind of go back to the monastery and tend to the paladin destiny and revisit their oaths to the dragon god. It's been an eventful 6 hours.
I really have missed it. Bunked it up a bit. I'd be happy to help search for the knowledge.
As you're there, the cat is sitting between you and Glint and kind of like looks up at you, Nix, and kind of at you as if to be like, don't forget about me.
You found a cat.
I'd like to. Yeah, this is my new companion, as it were.
Like a familiar, or
Oh, it's a very lovely friend. Let's call her lady.
Glint, you say it like a familiar, and you can swear that you see like attitude on the cat's face.
Your cat.
The cat just kind of gives you a look of like
royalty.
So like any
No
other
subordinates.
cat, really.
Exactly. No subordination with them at all. You serve them.
Interesting. I mean, that is true. Typically, you don't really adopt a cat. The cat adopts you, and that's how it goes, I'm told. And you just found this one out in the street somewhere. I mean, what, eating garbage? Or,
No, not at all. No. She found me, as sorts, and we've been, exploring the city a bit. Forgive him.
How
He's just a silly little dwarf.
silly little dwarf.
Well,
He is just a silly little dwarf. I would like to second that motion.
Well, welcome to the gang.
She meows.
All right, Ember, what crimes are we looking up today?
Well, I need to get the story behind the Raven Queen, not what the tenets are, but
History.
all of these have got a history, an origin story of some kind, and I think I need to start there.
Well, I'm happy to help along with that then. We're in the biggest library in the world. I'll take the left.
Okay. So, I want to ask you two something. Do you want to how long do you guys intend to dedicate to this escapade of learning of the Raven Queen? Is this something that you're wanting to dedicate like a couple days to, or is this like kind of a we'll see how it goes today kind of thing?
I think for Glint, at least, the latter.
Okay.
For Ember, I'm guessing probably the former.
Is that true, Ember?
That's fairly accurate.
He seems very single-minded at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
You laid your hand on a friend. I can burn that hand from here. Let me help you find the way. How many churches do you have? How big is a fireball?
Let's see how that goes for you. Okay. Let's get to it. So you two will go about searching around the library. The monks say at some point, they say like, the Raven's Crest Cathedral in the Dusk Meadow has a rather large repository of knowledge. If you were wishing to seek out information regarding the Raven.
I appreciate that. That would be phenomenally unwise given the current climate.
He's on a spiritual cleanse right now.
Spiritual cleanse, I see.
Sort of purged by fire. So, yeah.
Purged by fire?
It's something of a boycott situation.
Yes. Absolutely not.
Oh, okay, sure. And they just kind of help you rather quietly thereafter. All right, I would like, yeah, if you're both searching, I'd like you both to, as you spend an hour, to make a history check as you go about. See if you can find the history you're seeking.
It's an investigation.
Nope, this is history.
History, delightful.
As you are, yes. Unfortunately, it's not quite religion, as you are not in a religious place. You're more seeking like the history of the Raven Queen, so to speak.
That's a 31.
Oh fuck! Okay, you. Okay. Yeah. What did you get, Ember?
I got a little less than half of that. 14.
Oh, 14. Okay. I think we'll say just because I'm sure Glynn's going to share it with you anyway. So for the sake of the fun of it, Ember, you're a little too frustrated to like sit with any book for too long. Reading isn't really the I imagine reading isn't very it isn't very fulfilling for the emotion of anger. So you're like sitting there with you're sitting there with a stupid book and fuck this book. You don't actually want to read. You want to find a way to kill the Raven Queen, apparently, but you don't want to read about it. You're a little high emotion right now. But Glint, however, is very good at this. And Glint, you're just gonna learn what you want to know at the end of the day here. So we're just looking at the history of the Raven Queen. That's the idea.
I believe so.
Okay. The first thing you learn is that there is definitely more information in the restricted archives that are not meant for even standard monks. So there's definitely more to be found within the vaults. But what you do learn that she is and always has been the god of death. Let's see here. She was a big part of the calamity and the following war, which has a name, but I'm all. Let's see here. Yep, so she was around in the Age of Arcana. She was a big, big role in the calamity. Let's see here. What can I give you that would be on public record? Let's see. Okay, for 30, I'll give it to you. It's not very detailed, but it tells of how the Raven Queen was once a mortal woman who is, there's a lot of theories around that, but nothing concrete. That is said to have ascended to godhood, the first mortal to have ascended to godhood. Yeah, the gods event.
Out of curiosity, was there a prior deity of death, or did the Raven Queen take that role from whole cloth, as it were?
There is no record of any other god of death. All that is known is that she was a mortal who became the god of death. There is theory and conjecture, but nothing solid in the public records. Let's see. What else is there? So I got to kind of pick and through the lore here. She is said to be like her divine domain is a place called Letherna in the realm of the Shadowfell. She is revered by a type of elf you've never heard before, Shatterkai. They are said to be her servants across the plains. It
Yeah, the
talks of her
Goth Elves.
commandments, of course. That's right. Yeah, Death Elves, basically. Apparently, they serve her out of fear, but also love and respect. And this apparent cult extends both between the Shadow Realm and the material plane. Let's see. It is said that she is ancient enemies with the now god Vecna. That's back during the Age of Arcanum. Vecna was defeated by the Raven Queen's followers back in the Age of Arcanum, and then again by one of her champions now. There is information about how her champion, known as Provan Sol, had a large part to play in the defeat of Vecna back in those times. Okay. Let me make these a little easier. Is there anything specific Glenn's looking for? Because you're just kind of getting the history, and I think that was pretty relevant, but is there anything else you're looking for here?
I think in terms of the direction of the search, but would defer to Ember.
I'm actually going to probably leave it at that. I'm afraid to say, just because this is common knowledge and you're only spending like a couple of hours here. So I'll say you learn that the Raven Queen was immortal, became god around the end of the Age of Arcanum. That is what you learn, which is big knowledge. It's not something known.
Yeah, and Glint would convey this to Ember as well. So it would appear, at least, many, many, many years ago, that she was immortal. The first one to actually ascend to divinity. The rest seem to have always been gods, or maybe they are from a pantheon from another plane that then came here, already divine, who knows. She's sort of a local that figured out how to self-promote.
Well, that means that he changed.
Honestly, looking at it, I imagine a great deal of this process here may have gone into the rituals Vecna used to ascend. Seems similar in terms of the concepts discussed.
I'm going to say, Glint, given your background, you are very sure of that. Like yeah, that's spot on the money.
Interesting.
I'm also going to say that I guess I'll start pre-warning. What you're doing is dangerous, just in and of itself. That's all. This line of inquiry is very dangerous.
In terms of, there's people that will not take kindly to this, or the gods will not take kindly to this?
Make me a religion check.
Yeah, sure. 28.
28. You know that the Raven Queen is considered a lawful neutral deity, which is very fitting. She is very concerned about death and death staying the way it is. And that's it. She doesn't care about people being angry at her. She doesn't care about people cursing her name or wanting to rip her from the sky or whatever. But you're in the holy city of Vasselheim, where all of the prime deities are respected with great piety. And she does not have a first-hand say on everything every one of her followers does. Her domain is death, not making sure every person who follows her does the right thing. There are a lot of people in this city who would take immense offense to the even as a joke, the passing idea of slaying a god or displacing a god. This is you're in the Vatican and you're talking about killing God in front of like one of the cardinals. Like this is where we're at, to be very clear.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, just as full clarification, on Glenn's end, he is helping the research, but his intents are purely discovery at the moment.
Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm just saying you have that knowledge point. So as you look across the table and see Ember's anger, like you know that like this,
yeah. So
this is all everyone's very like mind about respecting the gods around here.
Yeah, so Glenn will kind of like take in a slow breath and kind of have that kind of moment of either knowledge or objectivity to like pan back as to, oh, why is Ember asking this? Do be cautious in this. I think knowledge is a good thing to have. Discovery is important, and it's valuable that we question these things, but let's not try and cast anyone out of a pantheon or try and ascend ourselves. I mean, the last time that happened, it nearly broke the world. Tempered approach.
Well, that is really up to circumstances that exist beyond my measure.
All right, well,
it's important that limits exist, and it is right that they do so. But by the same token, sometimes usurpation needs to happen to undo a set of actions that are not tolerable. And whimsically handing out a death sentence is something that I am not going to willfully stomach.
I understand.
And there are a good number of ways that can be accomplished rather than looking at the most pedestrian way to make that happen. It occurs to me that there may be a different method of attaining appropriate leverage. Because the other method requires being forgotten.
I think you are looking at the equation with a singular solution, which is an end result where the problem caused goes away.
Absolutely. I would like the problem caused to go away.
And that is extremely understandable. And you're looking at it in ways that you might assert control over the outcome to affect that result. And again, I think that is understandable. You want leverage, you want knowledge, you want bargaining power to try and force the outcome. Sometimes
It's worked so far.
it
Yeah.
has, but
Cosmic assholes from God knows where, try to tip them on into the ocean.
eventually every fire runs out of fuel.
Depends on
I
where you're
think-
standing, but typically the answer to that is yes.
And I think it is worth asking why we are in this situation and what can cause a natural dissolution of the outcome. I think there's more than two ways to address this. I'm not 100% certain of what every way is, yes, but I don't think Yvain was handed a death sentence. I think we're capable of handling ourselves round undead.
That was exactly what she was handed.
She was handed...
The nature of that, as it was described, was that there is no out, there is no through. The end state of this is, grave plot 12, row 14. That's how it is undone, as presented. And that I'm not willing to accept. And the largest bully thinks that she can make that happen without consequence. And that's not acceptable. Period. To be perfectly honest with you, I would be less incensed if it were evenly split between the three of us. Because I asked for it, you assisted, she assisted, but that wasn't the case.
It was a singular. I agree,
and in particular, Yvain has done nothing but help foster her cause. And the injustice of that has me very heated.
And I do not think it is misplaced. In terms of the situation we find ourselves in, by my understanding, and it could be an imperfect understanding, Yvain is not going to be killed by the Mark. What will occur is, if she dies, the Raven Queen will ensure she cannot be returned, and that itself is still dangerous. I do not wish to undersell that, but I just think there's a dangerous boundary to maintain between trying to force the world to work a way different than it is and trying to guide it along to a difference. I spent a great deal of my life doing the former, and everyone largely knows how that ended. So just be very, very careful.
I am not interested in taking on an impossible task. I am looking solely for leverage, some way to affect change. And I will see that done. Now, it could be that in typical tasks that there is going to be some set of atonement tasks that need to be done that will be set forth, but I don't have any idea what those are. They certainly weren't handed out when the mark was handed out. And that's not my purview to ask about. What is in my purview is to understand from whence that originates and make it abundantly clear that in this moment today, that's outside of my ability to reach and stretch that far. Will it be always? No, because I will change. They will change.
Maybe a good starting point on that front actually is then in the Raven Queen's cathedral. Maybe we could simply ask her or them about the mark. Maybe she would be willing to tell us if we approach properly. I don't know. At the moment,
I'm not in the state of mind to deal with that because,
of course, we'll give it a few days.
and I will lean in very close. To be perfectly honest with you, if I step foot in there, there is every likelihood that I just try to burn every single solitary person I can see. Because the other thing that I'm pretty certain will do her in is if there are no followers left.
I'm going to say, Glenn, you're getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
Ember's entire disposition, his words, this screams like back in your day, this would have been the perfect person to bring into the fold. This is probably like strangely nostalgic.
Yeah. Well, for the time being,
those people did not cause any of this to happen. This was the person at the top of the pyramid. I don't have any problems with people following what they want to follow. They put on a nice party. They've generally been nice. Some of them have been assholes. Alistair comes to mind. But I would rather deal with the person who caused the problem than I would rather deal with deposing the king than all of their peasants and servants and knights and all of that nonsense. Regicide is a much better outcome.
As you talk about regicide and slaying the person on top quite broadly, you'll notice that your monk is having conversation with another monk at the back of the room at this point, Ember, with a worrying seriousness. At least, Glenn, you see it over Ember's shoulder as he tells this to you.
Let's tone down the rhetoric before they think you're here to pass out pamphlets and swords. Look, for the moment, research, this is constructive. but give it a few days to calm down.
Oh, this is this is going to take a very long time to make happen.
You'll keep doing that thing where you keep circling that back around to proclamations of grave intent, and you'd make a very good cultist. But you're definitely giving me some secondhand stress on this.
I don't mean to be causing you any stress, but this situation is not acceptable. And the person responsible for the inacceptability is happens to be the person at the top of the pyramid.
So we're gonna come back to this conversation because at this point things are in motion. Let's put it that way. Nix, you're here. Was there anything that you wanted to do here in the library?
So Nick's just learned about the mark, right? And so they're probably going to be kind of curious if they've got all these books around. They kind of probably want to learn about what it is and
Okay.
and what it means.
Yeah, make me a history check as you go about and see if you can learn about this death mark you've been told about.
17.
17. You find in the histories that occasionally when people have committed blasphemy against the Raven Queen, she will hand out this mark known as the Mark of Death, and it's a magical mark. It's there's some debate if it's a curse or if it's actually like an enhancement or what its deal is. But what largely is understood is that those who bear the Mark of Death have blasphemed against the god of death, and in such a way as to draw her attention. So people in history have often been sort of how do I put it? Kind of pushed to the fringes of society, like like cast out of the village and all of that, where people basically don't want to anger the god of death, and so they don't want to associate with someone who has angered the god of death. So essentially, the mark means you have pissed off the god of death and blasphemed against her, and everybody will now know it. That's mainly what the mark is.
Got it. Could they look up to see if anyone has maybe gotten rid of that mark?
If anyone is, I'll add that to the piece.
Like
of
anyone's
lore.
been able to
Yeah, the
wiggle out
result
of the
these,
punishment?
Yeah, the result of that is one of two things. One where they they just have it, they die, I guess. But the more famous individuals have either gone on to become like great followers of the betrayer and kind of wear the mark as like a badge of honor, basically being like, yeah, I pissed off the gods, I spat in their face, and they acknowledged me for it. And so the bad guys usually use it as a sign of pride amongst like their evil cohorts. But the way to get rid of it is essentially to genuinely oh shit, what's the word? My word's not working today.
Like repent?
Thank you. To show genuine repentance has often led to its removal. Some have even gone on to be saints of the Raven Queen after the Mark of Death.
Sweet.
Yep. So genuine repentance is how you get rid of it.
Awesome sauce. All right, so they're probably gonna kind of wander and try to find where Glint and Ember have gotten out too.
Okay. You're gonna see. You come around the bookshelf, Nix, and you're gonna see it before they do. You see about 3 monks. One of them a little bit nicer dressed than anyone else you've seen in here, making their way over towards their table. And we're gonna whip over there. Glint and Ember, as you're talking about, matricide, you're gonna see a couple of high-ranking members of the Cobalt Soul approach. One of them is like an older human man with like white hair. He's sort of a little hunched. And he approaches and he says, good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope you have finding everything that you are looking for here in the Cobalt Soul.
Right. It's yeah, everything's good. I mean, yeah, all is well.
I see. I'm very sorry to say I've received a couple of complaints about certain rhetoric being said here at the table. I was just curious as to what that is about.
Oh, what sort of rhetoric?
Just things about, killing the gods and matricide and things of this nature, blasphemes against the Raven Queen. Is this what has been going on over here?
Um, we're just having a very spirited discussion on divine origin and apotheosis. Nothing untoward is being planned, nothing criminal. It's simply a thing that we're very passionate about.
I see. Make me a persuasion check, Glenn.
All right. Oh boy. Persuasion. Okay. 16?
16. He smiles at you. He looks over at you, Ember, and he says, do you share in your companion's opinion?
Oh, he's the relative voice of reason here at the table.
And
I, on the
what would
other
that make
hand,
you?
am angry.
Angry.
Yes. And I am endeavoring to understand and learn more to temper that into something more reasonable and actionable. Because presently, it doesn't have anything to work on, which is a self-defeating cycle.
I understand. So you're researching so that you might take action against the Raven Queen
I'm
and her
researching
followers?
to find options and wisdom.
Er, neither of us are adherents to the Raven Queen as a personal patron.
Ember, I'd like you to make me a deception check. You are speaking honestly, but you are coding the truth of your intention and anger.
And yeah, we're gonna take my inspiration and use that one because that does not seem like a good idea to leave stand. And it doesn't matter because it apparently is going to be that way. That will be a natural one for a total of 6.
He smiles and he says, well, gentlemen, I think it might be time that you moved on from our temple here. And if I
Certainly,
might make a recommendation, if this
by
is
all means.
your interest, is to take action against one of our wonderful prime deities, I might recommend leaving the city, young men.
Glenn's gonna Nix is gonna stumble over and try to like diffuse the situation. My companions get a little lively in their discussions. It's all theoretical and such. This is just we're gonna be leaving though. They're very hungry. You don't like to see some people when they're hungry. It makes the brains a bit wonky. Ember is very prone to that, aren't you, Ember?
Well, then off you go, by all means, you three.
Of course.
My apologies
thank you.
for disturbing your lovely library. And thank you for putting me on the right path. At which point, Ember will leave the Cobalt Soul.
He keeps doing that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you guys kind of leave. They very much walk you to the door, and as they leave, they kind of turn around, and you get the sense that that's probably not entirely the end of it. But as they kind of turn back and converse, and there's some nodding of the heads and people walking off as if to do things, you get the sense that maybe it might not be good to come back here at this point in time. Let's pop over to Yvain and Chaplin, who has made a fun addition to the game. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, Vol. Okay, what are you two up to?
Oh, I'm going to ask him if he wants to go to the library.
Yeah.
And if he says yes, then I'm going to put myself together, make myself look pretty and such, and then we'll go. If he wants to do something else, we can do that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do. It was, you had something planned out, didn't you?
Yeah, so no, it's part of the scavenger hunt that Dad said we should read a book in the library, and you have no idea what I do in the library. So I thought I would show you what I do when I'm not here. It's sort of my day job, as it were. And I'm being a librarian.
All right, yeah, I'd love to see it.
So she's going to gather up the scrolls that have been worked upon and put them in her bag of holding, and we can head to the library.
Okay. So as you two head to the library, you're going to see the big, beautiful Cobalt Vault, and you're also going to see your three beautiful friends being escorted out of it. Not the first time you have been banned from the library. Members of this party, anyway. The doors close. Luckily, Yvain, you're not. I'm also curious, Yvain, are you attempting to cover the mark in any way?
I mean, I don't have a disguise kit or anything, so no.
No. Okay. Noted.
I think as we pass them on the way out, Zarva will kind of smirk at the group and wink and look directly at Glint and say, "Kicked out of another establishment, dwarf."
Oh, it wasn't me this time.
Oh. All right, we'll meet up. We need to. We're on a mission. We'll meet up with you. Can we have lunch together?
I think that's a good idea. I think Ember's blood sugar might be a little low.
Right, tell you what, we'll go ahead to the cafe and see if we get kicked out there before you arrive there too.
Okay, you know what? I would love a spot of lunch. Zara, would you like some lunch? We'll go to the library after lunch.
Yeah, sure.
We can keep doing this musical chairs.
I'm just trying to get us all together.
I'll be at the place next to the Slayer's Take. I won't be going back to the cabaret.
We can find another place for lunch. I think we all should sit down together. I really do.
We'll just find. Is there a tavern nearby? I'm looking around. Is there a tavern that we can sit at and have lunch and just talk as a party?
Of course.
I'm sorry, trying to be frustrating.
We need to circle the wagons.
Let's see. Here in the quad roads, let's see. What do we got? It's fine. You find a tavern, and it's called, what's it called? The Pendulum Swing. There it is.
I love that. Perfect. The Pendulum Swing.
Pendulum Swing.
It's a pop-up tavern for the holiday season.
That's right.
Okay. I love this.
You walk in. It's a very nice tavern. Mainly traders inside, adventurers. You get the sense that it's a little bit of the lower income side. It's more for people who want to like have a bit of a rowdy good time. Lots of symbols of Avandra, by the way. The Changebringer. Yeah, it's a cool place. get some lunch. Cost you 3 silver each.
Right. Hey, so, yeah, so, I haven't been thrown out of the library since Western.
I mean, honestly, half the libraries I've ever been in weren't exactly legal to start with.
There's something exciting about breaking into a library. I could have gotten you into this one though.
Oh no, we
We
got
didn't.
in
We didn't
fine.
break in. We were just asked to leave. More specifically, I was asked to leave, but
And the
Glint was
library-
sitting right next door. So
Yeah, and you know what they say about firing squads. They line up in a line for a reason.
What? What happened? What happened? How? What did you do in a library?
they apparently weren't exceptionally keen on my area of interest.
We had a very spirited discussion.
Am I going to have to put you on the rack to pull the story out of you?
Well, it involves the words regicide and apotheosis.
I feel like Yvain would have to roll to know what apotheosis is.
Yeah, fair enough.
Her
Druid
intelligence
girl.
is a 12. That's
Yeah, make a 12, make an intelligence check. Or I'll give you a religion even.
oh, actually, okay, 14. I think it's 14. Let me check. No, it's 15. That's right. We leveled up and I got another.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, apotheosis basically means ascending to godhood. Or so yeah, you get the gist. Above the table, I gotta say, I was trying to figure out how the hell I was gonna get you all back to Tal'Dorei, but if you keep this up, I won't have to do a fucking thing.
Right.
No. Please no. That's
Well,
I am not comfortable meeting a disproportional response with another disproportional response. I don't feel like that's going to be productive. Honestly, I feel like kind of an idiot. So if we can just agree that I'm an idiot, right? These are conditions we can live with. In fact, many people, the majority of the people on Exandria live with these conditions. The undead thing is going to complicate matters, and so perhaps she'll be finding someone else to deal with Shape Arrow.
In that moment, Gumbo pulls up a seat next to you, Yvain, and says, "Never really noticed it till now, but you are the most wickedly beautiful thing I've ever laid eyes on."
Oh wait, that kind of attraction, not like to kill me, but oh.
You're
I
just
don't know if I want
to.
I don't know what these feelings are.
Sorry.
Zaro shrugs.
Right. Stop talking yourself into these things. I don't know what to tell you.
Glint,
Stop
control
it.
your son.
Stop inviting everything in all the time.
He can to help himself. He's going through puberty.
Glint.
Who is this puberty you speak of?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Glint, you do have some measure of control, yes. I'm going to please. All right. Back it up, buddy.
My name is Gumbo.
I wasn't speaking to you, Gumbo, but there's space. If you would just move backwards, it could, I don't know.
I don't feel like I can give you personal space. It's just something compels me.
Your mark is going to pull in undead. I don't want to exercise forceful control.
I will kill him, Glint. Get him off me now.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I don't know why.
Gumbo, please Please, son, scooch back a few feet if you would.
The chair sort of like, yeah, like 2 feet away, and he just kind of like stares at you.
I understand.
She's going to put her hands on her sickle. I will kill him.
I understand you're being pulled in by this mark, Gumbo.
I am.
But you cannot comport yourself in this way if you are making someone uncomfortable.
What
I
does
want to make it
comport
clear
mean?
that I would kill someone living that got that close to me.
So you're gonna kill him? And he points at Zarvalk, who's sitting on the other side of
He
you.
has permission. Well,
I will. Yeah.
And that
Give an
doesn't mean
invitation.
no.
Right. At this point, Zarvog will lean into Gumber real close, and he'll say, "All right, listen up,
Leaning
Soup
so far
Nazi.
across her, I was on the other side of her.
Listen up, Soup Nazi.
Soup Nazi.
I will eat the marrow out of your soup bones. Sit back."
Wow. I don't know what these feelings are. It's been a very weird day.
Stop carousing my creation.
I don't know if this is even my fault. What did you say? You're gonna suck the bone marrow out of me? Oh.
Oh. I'm giving him a different target.
He's like, his two eyes are facing, one's at Yvain and one's at
Right.
Sparkle. He's
I feel
like,
strangely conflicted.
He's like, hi. Wow. I'd say I need a minute, but I don't feel like I can leave this space for some reason.
He pulls a textbook over top of his lap.
Yeah, he folds his leg and says, I'm just going to sit here for a minute.
Oh.
You all make my job so difficult.
I made your job difficult. This is not my fault. Ew. Gross.
He goes, hey, I have feelings, all right?
You're welcome to them, but keep them far from me.
It's not you, it's the mark on your face. It's so alluring.
Oh, gross.
I can't stop looking at it. But now he said that, and I just... The cat, like, looks at you next, just because you're, like, a raised eyebrow, like, are you... Almost as if to say, like, are you serious?
She's gonna love this, actually.
Actually, when Yvain sees the cat in Sylvan, she's going to say, "Oh, new friend, we're your friends. Welcome." And then just kind of.
How do you know that the cat speaks?
She's not expecting an answer. Happy doesn't answer. And
okay, you're right.
Neither does.
I
But
remember.
when she speaks to them, she does speak in Sylvan.
Yep,
So,
fair enough. I recall.
It would freak her out if she answered.
That's fair. Yeah, I will say that you speak to it in Sylvan, and it does turn its head a little surprisingly quick, as if it did, like, more than Fen, like did comprehend at least part of it. Yeah.
It's because cats are smarter. Just generally speaking, they're smarter than bunnies too. Fen is lovely. No, he's lovely, but cats are more.
Did you hear that, dummy?
He just looks at you. At that point, Happy jumps on the table and, like, looks at the cat. The cat looks at Happy. They kind of have, like, this, like, weird stare off where they're, like, looking at each other. The cat, like, tilts its head at Happy, and Happy kind of, like, they just kind of stare at each other, like, for a very long time. For like, maybe 30 seconds, they just stare at each other.
And in Sylvan, like, in the most sweet, using my animal handling. All right, friends. We're all friends.
We're all very friendly. We all like each other here.
They don't seem to regard you. They just kind of keep
Okay.
looking at each other.
Okay, no, cool, cool. Just making sure. Because cats have claws, and my I'm not happy. Like he's
He's
not
got a
a
horn.
guy.
He's got a
I was gonna say
horn.
he's not helpless.
He's never used that horn that way. I don't think.
He's got a sparkly rainbow horn.
He went toe to toe with an Anaheg queen.
That's
He's
true.
got
Hep, hep.
huge nasty teeth.
He can jump like this far.
Nyx is gonna like throw one of the goodies off of their plate toward Happy to kind of distract him. Like, get away, get away.
You like hit some, like kind of like toss it like at Happy, and Happy kind of like he's like kind of like comes out of like the stare down, like looks at it and kind of like scoops up whatever you threw at him, and like looks at the cat like prison yard style, and then jumps off the table and away. And the cat just sort of like preens up a little bit as if she won whatever was happening there.
Right, so
As it should be.
I guess state of affairs. I have no interest in killing a god.
No.
Not going to happen. It's off the table. I've tried
don't
it
want the
before.
job
It's not a
either.
thing.
I'm here to protect Exandria, all right? The whole gumbo, like, look, that's going to be a problem. We got to deal with that. But I told her I wasn't expecting to speak to her other than the way everybody else speaks to her. Like, I wasn't expecting for her to speak back. I thought I'd ask a cleric to be like, oh, hey, is that thing still in yet or not yet, right? Like, it wasn't supposed to be that. And I was just completely caught off guard. And clearly, I did not report myself well. But also, clearly, it was contagious. And for that, whatever sickness I brought in, I'm sorry. Let's not do that.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to be pissed off about it. Okay, that makes sense to me. It's a normal response in this situation to be angry and upset about it, and it's a terrible thing to be in. But we can take a day, let things simmer back down, pressure and temperature wise, and
Yeah.
maybe we can visit the cathedral in a day or two, and maybe see if we can speak to a priest or the goddess or anyone willing to give us an audience that is with the Raven Queen, and see what can be done to.
So this is because I got mouthy. Yeah.
Possibly.
Let's be clear. This is because I got mouthy. This is mine to fix. I need your emotional support. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to get that if we burn the fucker down. You know what I'm saying? Like, let us be wise. We have real things to do there.
Please understand. I've already found the point of leverage, and it has absolutely nothing to do with unseating her crow-beakedness from whatever seat that she's sitting in.
Okay, I don't need leverage. We don't need leverage. We can accept these. I can accept this and move on. Right? We don't need leverage. Let's move forward.
Absolutely, we need leverage.
Why do we need leverage? Right, there are other ways. There are other ways that I can.
If this were a king handing out a branded mark in
honestly kind of cool.
we would look for a way of ameliorating that situation. If it were a Thordak type situation, we would look for a way to ameliorate that. This is no different than that.
But it is,
Yeah.
right? Because we're not holding the entire city of Imon and 4 other cities, yeah? Right? This has an easy conclusion. Let me deal with it, please. I'm begging you. Let's stay your anger. I think there are gentler means to do what we need to do.
And again, like I said, I think you construe what it was that I was looking for.
I don't know, Amber. We did get thrown out of the library. I did find things in the library too while you were talking about unseating guards and such.
Yes, would you tell me what Nix, what did you find in the library?
So other people have gotten rid of the mark, but it takes. So we've offended the Raven Queen and disrespected her in ways. And so if we were very repentant, if we came with sincere repentance, we may be able to remove said mark. I don't think being angry and burning things up or trying to get leverage will go very far in getting that done, though.
At this point, I'm assuming that Zarvog and Yvain are sitting relatively close together. He'll take her
We're also
hand.
going to assume you guys have a somewhat relatively private booth at this point, just so we're not keeping you out of every establishment you walk into.
Yeah, and every establishment in Vasselheim. So he'll take her hand and kind of push it under his chest so she can feel his scar again. They're not always fair at the beginning.
I know.
Yeah, honestly,
I
Zarvog's god was angry at him. He got the shit kicked out of him in front of an audience, and people were clapping.
Multiple times.
Yeah, twice in 2 days.
Yeah, no, the unfairness of it does seem to be part of the point. Whatever, it's my turn.
It's not fair at all.
And therein lies exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Yeah, but there are other things I can be doing.
Oh, and this is not a today fix. It is not a tomorrow fix. This is going to take time. And the answer to your particular situation is yours to resolve. But the fact that this goes on, despite the good works of people and the best intentions, the fact that it goes on and it is accepted without question, that is the problem. The fact that everybody's first reaction is bow and scrape. Now, there's a huge power differential, and to a degree, there is the necessity to be the ant that is reasonably easy to ignore. But the real answer is to make whatever this secret path is part of public frickin' knowledge.
Oh no.
One where you turn
that's
into.
that's the real answer.
I see.
Ooh.
No, I.
This is
Knowledge is a very funny thing. Oh, right. Yeah. Like we are blessed that we get to know some of the things we know, but also people with lesser discretion make worse decisions, and we haven't always made the best decisions.
Right.
Like, guys, let's have a vacation. Let's do something silly, right? Let's just have some fun. Let's just gear down. Yeah. I'm so sorry. This is clearly my fault. I'm so sorry. Please.
It's not a fault thing.
Maybe we just don't deserve vacations. Every time we start a vacation, something divinely terrible happens, actually.
Oh, this might
We're,
not have been the
we're
time.
2 for 2.
All right, well, this one was my fault, right? This one was my bad. So just we could move like from right here. We can just accept this and move on. We can just have the rest of our time, and just try to have some fun. Like I think we just need to get down and be silly. Yeah, because it's all gotten really serious.
Also, for what it is worth, Elaine, frankly, regardless of your relationship, like their of opinion of the Raven Queen, I did tell you that I would help you with Shade Burrow whenever you wanted, and that still stands. I do not think that doing something decent should be reliant on the whims or opinions of a god. Ultimately, one way or the other.
Yeah, honestly, I've had the night to think about it, and I don't mean to be impious, but I don't. The only thing she cares about is death. Her only care is for dead and death. I trespassed once, I won't do it again. I don't know what repentance means. I wasn't in there screaming for the right to do it. She had rules. I didn't break the rules. I stepped in a gray area and I was mouthy. I lost my temper. For that, I'm sorry. Right? Believe me, I definitely won't do it again. At some point, she will or will not remove the mark when she is satisfied. Until then, there are larger problems, not the least of which is child slavery in the Iron Empire. And I think that that's where we should go. At least that's where I'd like to put my focus. Let's go for these last people.
Yeah.
Certainly.
You want to go to the library?
Yeah, I was going to show you what I do in there.
Ready when
Gloria's
you are.
never going to hit me up for that follow-up meeting now, is she?
Did you say Gloria?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Did you meet with her today?
The upside is when
Yes.
the rumor gets around, I am going to look way more crazy than you are.
Yes, but we have matching tattoos.
Yeah, fair.
At some point, I probably need to disguise it, so...
I have a kit. Put a little makeup on there.
And concealer.
Yeah, if it won't take too long, probably wouldn't hurt for me to be out going out in public. Sometimes I won't be able to, but might as well not frighten everyone. And she'll lean in and let you try to
Nyx is gonna get all giddy and they're gonna take their little pack out and be like, showtime. And just like
I love that.
All right, you want to just try and disguise your vein?
just a little concealer. Just a little
Yeah,
more.
just a little concealer. Make me a let's call it a performance check at advantage because you're proficient with your disguise kit. Just a little quick work on for him.
$25.
You create a very, to be clear, like in this day and age, it's not the easiest thing to do because they don't have all the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different types of concealer with different skin tones and so on and so forth. But Nyx, you managed to find like just the right mixture to match the complexion of Yvain and just managed to hide it away, at least for a time. We'll take
All right, we're done. You look lovely.
Yeah.
I mean, you always look lovely, but now they won't be able to tell.
No, it won't be scary and lovely. And she'll grab Zara and she goes, let's go to the library.
All right. Show me where the magic happens.
As the hobgoblin
he turns around. He turns around and looks at the soup ghoul.
the soup ghoul. You turn around. The soup ghoul's actually like following you guys, like 2 feet back as he was commanded, but he's like following you guys. I'm like, oh, what are we? Why did we stop?
Glint, could you get your stew?
Look, we're all stew at the end of the day. You can call him Gumbo. Gumbo, stay with us.
Fine. Okay, and he'll go back and sit down and look rather glumly. Yeah, Yvain and Zarval, you guys, the hobgoblin ranger, possible devotee of the Stormlord, is dragged to the library by his girlfriend.
As is wont to happen.
As is wont to happen. Yeah, you guys wander inside. You find yourself in the Cobalt Vault here. It's a big, beautiful library. I'm going to take it back, actually. I think the one in Whitestone is bigger than this one, technically speaking. But it is still a fine repository of knowledge and a big, beautiful ancient building. What would you like to do?
So, I would like to say that as part of her what she's wearing today, she would have her silver shield on and her little pin, a little 3-mask pin of Ayun that marks her as a monk. Just the way they've been described, they kind of like fit on the collar of a cloak or something. They're not like they're reasonably subtle. She would have put those on if she's going into the library. And
yep. Yep, the curator will, or not, I keep saying curator, but that's way too high a rank for what we're doing here. Archivists. The archivists, yep. We'll stop you and say, well, Carl, what can I do for you?
Hello, my name is Yvain and this is Arvolg, and we are, well, actually, we bring word from Tal'Dorei, and she was actually going to stop and just start handing him scrolls. Some of this is from Westron, and some of this is from Imon, and you should give them to whoever deals in current events, as it's all things that have happened in like the last 3 months.
Very well.
And this is our first time here, and I thought we would do some research and maybe look for something on the Iron Empire. Do you have anything on the Iron Empire?
The Iron Empire. The Iron Empire. He sort of scratches his head. We'll take a look through the encyclopedia. Iron Empire. Let me see. And we'll kind of take out this big book. You'll start flipping through indexes and whatnot. And he says, "Iron Empire. Oh, we might have related to we don't have anything on the Iron Emperor, but we do have some information regarding its associated deity. Which one was it?" He pulls over the book again. Starts looking through. He says, oh, yes, 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 the Strife Emperor, yes. They have a couple of information about the Strife Emperor. There should be some information about the Iron Authority in those books.
And assuming there's any telling text or pictures, Zarvo will kind of slap his hand down on the book and look at Yvain and say, that.
Oh, excellent. Well, let me just get a monk to be assigned to you, and well, 2 monks assigned to each one of you. Yes, get started. And he'll organize it all. A monk will be assigned to each of you, and you may enter within. So yeah, if you two want to go to study for a couple of hours, why don't you make me some history checks to see what you learn about the Iron Authority? Well, actually, let me ask. What is it specifically you're looking about? The Iron Authority, right?
So this may be entirely too specific, but she's actually looking for any information about slavery or the legality of slavery, or if slavery is cultural, or like that's specifically how that works into their society culturally.
Oh, you want to learn about the culture of slavery in the Iron Authority?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to conquer.
No, absolutely. Roll well.
I know I'm probably at the wrong library for this, but it's the library I'm at.
Fair enough.
Okay, before I roll, can I get my wheel versus woe? Because I haven't done it yet.
Yep, go for it.
God damn it, it's a 7. It's woe.
Okay, got it.
You said it needed to be really good, so that's probably not going to be it. Is this investigation?
This is history.
History. All right. Yeah. No. No. That was a 13.
A 13. You find some books about the Iron Authority that are very they treat it very much like a footnote. You get the sense you're in the wrong library essentially. Yeah. Where the Iron Authority, it's like an empire in the southern peninsulas of Tal'Dorei. They consider it to be a sort of sleeping empire that is based in the Rift and Mist jungles and as the patron deity of the Strife Emperor. They do indeed deal in the slave trade quite often, and many conflicts with the local elves and tribes do result in the enslavement of individuals. But that's all it really says. It doesn't go into great detail about like the culture, so to speak. In fact, if there's anyone to talk to about the culture, it'd be Zarval. He would be the leading expert on the Iron Authority in Isilra at this point. But anyway, Zarval, what would you like to research specifically?
Oh, he's not researching anything in particular. He's just kind of following along. Yvain is supposed to be showing him libraries and how they work and how you find things. So he's following along and watching over his shoulder.
Fair enough.
So part of what's going on is I'm sort of at the wrong library. We're on a totally different continent. They might have more in Western or even in Amon because it's on the same continent and not all that far away. Part of the hunt, right, is actually looking in the right place. So it wasn't a successful hunt, but sort of in the wrong place for it. But if there was something you wanted to know about things that happened here in Isilra, we would actually probably be more likely to find.
Right, so
if you had any curiosities.
No tracks, no trail, no path here for the Iron Authority. What about the crown?
The crown?
Yeah. The barbed circlet. Is there anything here on that?
That will be in a special collection. We could possibly get, right, because something like that's going to be protected. It's possible that there would be information here. It's also possible that we know more about it. Okay, but here's something that we could look for. When we were at the festival in Livengorn, there was a parade, and in one of the floats in the parade, it depicted the vestiges of there were 3. One of them was an amulet. It was an amulet that had something to do with the change bringer. that was supposed to be a vestige, and then there was another one that was the Don Marshall's armor that I think High Priestess Trickfoot is wearing, right? So maybe a good, maybe something we could look for. Are there other vestiges? And she'll look at the monks and say, is that something that we might be able to find? Is if there what other vestiges made and what they might do?
Yes, by all means. Let's sure. And if you want to spend a couple more hours, and I'll say this will probably take you to the end of the day, go ahead and make another history check.
All right, so that will be a 15 on the dice.
15 on the dice. That will be exactly what you need to roll. So yes, you'll learn about a couple. There are some more easily noted than others. Let's see. It will mention that there are basically what a vestige of divergence is that during the War of the Calamity and destruction reigned across the world, both God and mankind constructed amazing relics for the various champions of the war to use. They are immensely powerful. Again, created by powerful archmages woven through arcane powers to legendary magic items that could thwart death and mete out equal measure. They, while can be attuned to, they grow with the bearer in power, whether that is in connection to themselves or a deity or something greater than themselves or lesser than themselves. That is how a person grows. And it lists a number of them that are on record. There is notably, there is an item known as Cabal's Ruin, which is a heavy cloth gold patterned cloak that has the power to absorb and deal out arcane energy. Is essentially considered like, from some time in the Calamity, it was a mage hunter's cloak, essentially. There is an item known as the Deathwalker's Ward, which is said to be armor bestowed upon the champion of the Raven Queen, and is rumored to still be in the possession of such a champion. And you did see it in person at one point, Yvain.
I was going to say, would we recognize that?
You certainly would. You recognize that entirely. You also recognize the second one, a gorgeous longbow made of Fey Realm bark known as Fenthras, which is noted to be in the possession of the coin mistress Lady Vixalia of Tal'Dorei.
And Yvain would have a moment. Yes, remember when we saw the champion of the, remember at the crossroads with the champion of the Raven Queen? This is what he was wearing. This is what he was wearing. And then the coin mistress, she's that bow. Totally, like, and like she probably started out really loud and then got like really quiet when she realized that she was in the library, but she's whispering, but with that much excitement.
Got it.
And he just kind of like puts his head closer and looks closer at the book and kind of smooths out the pages. There are more.
Looks like it.
And then we'll continue to list the various, frankly, the armors wielded by Voxbach. Not with any great detail about what they do, or the extent of their legend, other than that they're wielded by Vox Machina, Myth Carver, the Bard's Longsword, the Plate of the Dawn Martyr in possession of Pike Trickfoot, the Dawn Marshal, the Spire of Conflicts, a powerful elemental staff wielded by Keyleth of the Ashari. The Titan Stone Knuckles, which are a pair of gauntlets that were. This does tell you that that was constructed out of the Earth Titan that has now petrified outside of Amon, wielded by Grog Strongjaw, the legendary barbarian, and Whisper, the dagger that was wielded by Vax'ildan. And then we'll go on to say that these are just a number of examples of modern vestiges that are publicly being bared and worn. And there are many, many more said to be scattered across the ancient ruins of the Calamity and beyond even that. Across Tal'Dorei, they need only be found. And that is sort of what the record tells.
So this was a fun thing. But like in Western, when we were hunting the Ankegs, this was where we were able to figure out that they were ankegs and learn about what they sort of liked. And by being able to give you that information, you were able to track them better. So this is sort of this temple is a crossroads of knowledge. And it's where I begin a lot of our hunts for things that are more esoteric. And that's what I do when I'm here. And write a lot of reports.
So it's like learning how to find something without hearing it from somebody around a campfire, essentially.
Yeah, because what if you're not at that campfire with that person when they're telling the story? People like me, we go down, we write those stories, and we collect them all in one place. And you saw that really big book. That big book references every single book, scroll, everything in here. That's why it's so big. That individual spent 30 years probably learning just how to figure out, going right through that book to know, oh, that's what you want. It's going to be in this place. It's really hard. It's a lot of information in that book.
And he kind of looks around for a little while. And he's like, so how do you know what's in the books and what's not in the books?
You can never know what you don't know. So you simply find out what's in the books and go from there. When I was doing my information on the Horned King, I did that research in Western. After he made a mess of things over there, I wanted to know what he'd be throwing at us. Specifically, I wanted to know how to hunt him, which is apparently a very bad idea.
I want to give you one more thing before we move on here.
Yeah.
This will be fun for you, Yvain. While flipping through the text in this conversation, you come upon a monograph of the vestige of divergence from obviously the Cobalt Reserve, as you are in, and there's a monograph that was wrote and attributed by High Curator Joram Irilios of back in 547 PD. So one of the past High Curators says, and quotes, "When the God War spread across Exandria, no creature was safe, no matter how small and insignificant, no matter how mighty and powerful. For the battles between gods would be gods, and their divine monstrosities took place on such a scale that mountains were sundered and whole cities perished. How could any mortal hope to sway the fate of their own world? The answer, perhaps ironically, given how the arcane arts and a hunger for godhood brought about the calamity, lay in magic in both arcane and divine providence. Not paltry charms or trinkets, but the kind of magic that suffuses the ley lines of this world and plucks at the very fabric of reality. True, a mortal army may be naught but a cloud of gnats to the gods, but a single hero or villain, wielding an artifact imbued with magic beyond reckoning, such a champion would bring the strength and cunning to bear amidst the devastation of the god. Thus the gods and even the greatest mortal mages wrought relics of a might never seen before, nor, I think, since. Moreover, a full potential of these items could only be used by those with souls worthy to wield such legendary power." End quote. And that is the most apt description of vestiges that you find.
We're not trying to get rid of the god, we're just trying to stop the slave trade, right? Should be a lot easier. When did they have a crossbow?
That would be nice to find out. Or really anything we could use. I kind of thought the crown might be it, but if there are others that aren't found.
I don't want to play with the betrayers. I don't ew. And she's like, she does sort of, I'm like, I know I'm dramatic, but I have my allegiances. I'm happy with them. I think we can use the resources we have. Yeah, let's see what's on the table. And she's gonna point at her forehead and she's like, look, I fucked up. I'm mouthy. I'll take my lickings. Yeah? We have work to do. We have slaves to free. Let's get to work.
Okay. Before we leave, and I know it's getting late, I was told to speak to Gloria. If we can't do that tonight, I should do that sometime soon.
And she'll look at the monks and say, Gloria Ios is a seer that
Oh yes, Sia Gloria Ios. She has she has a study just down the hall over on that side.
Is it late? Should we come back tomorrow? Give a chance to break?
It's up to you. I suppose I'm not her secretary.
Oh, and off the cuff, I don't suppose you have any books on how to overthrow a government that, or at least stop a slave trade? Do you know how to stop? Do you know what's on making people stop trading slaves?
I might recommend speaking to. I would recommend the Stormlord's Temple. The God of War would be largely what many of us here might recommend.
I love that.
The Dawnfather is also a good god who has many paladins at his behest and looks out for the small folk. There are any number of prime deities who would stand against such things, and I think yes, I would go to the Stormlord. I would start with the Stormlord.
Perfect. And she's going to kind of lock arms with Zara. I think that's fantastic.
All right. So yeah, you can go visit Gloria, but before we do, let's go to a break. We're at about that time. We'll be back soon enough and continue our Sarvolgan Yvain. There's a couple hours left in the day for Ember, Nyx, and Glint to get up to whatever they'd like to get up to. And what might that be?
Glint would like to cast a sending spell just to kind of get one particular thing in progress.
Certainly.
He's been to Gilmore's Glorious Goods.
Oh yeah, you have.
Would he remember any of the standard staffers there?
Yes, there is one particular named Sherry who is always there working, always seemingly running the shop.
Yeah, he would cast Ascending to Sherry.
Okay.
Hello, Sherry. This is Glint Grimhelm. Currently looking for some spell scrolls. First level, if you could check inventory and get back to me, appreciated. Thanks.
All right. You receive back some information pretty quickly. It says, yes, Mr. Grimhelm. Fine to hear from you again. Stop by whenever you have time. We have a large selection.
And I will pop a second sending. Currently in Vasselheim. Might be a bit. Would it be possible to hold on layaway? Much appreciated if possible.
So, oh my. Anything's possible. Again, we have a large selection that will not be running out anytime soon.
Delightful. And Glint's gonna kind of look over to the party. At some point, I'm going to need to resupply on a few things. And they don't really get in the business of selling many goods here. At some point, I'm going to at least make a day trip back to Amon, even if we're staying here for the next several days. What are our plans in the immediacy of things?
Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. I kind of just tag along. You all seem to have what's that? More direction than me, so I just kind of tag along.
All right.
I, for one, have had my fill of this particular continent. I wish it the fondest of Siberian traps, and I'm ready to go.
Do we want to? I could even take us there tonight if we want. I have the materials and the spell effectively ready. It's
Well,
just, it costs a little bit of money, but it's not tragically expensive.
I think we probably need to wait and see what, if anything, needs to be done.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I suppose I'm going to get a little bit of time to read up and go over my notes, and I will be about probably tomorrow. Then I'll make a trip out to the Raven Queen's Cathedral, if that's still on the docket. Beyond that, our large goal is end slavery, and there's a bit of connective tissue in between those two things. So I think some travel plans are necessary.
I would agree. I think we're gonna have to get everyone together to get on the same page again, though. I feel like we didn't make a lot of progress earlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll go grab a drink and go through my books.
Okay. As you are sitting there, Zarval. Oh shit, you're not there. Never mind. Fuck you. I mean, sorry, I don't know why I threw that on the end there. I apologize. We'll get to you though. We'll get to you. Something's coming your way. Okay, so Glenn, you're gonna drink your drink and do some thinking. Yeah, Ember, you're ready to go. You're just waiting for the time to go. Nix, was there anything you wanted to accomplish in Vasselheim, or are you feeling the same way? Ready to go to a new continent? Something new for you. You'll be going to the actual campaign setting.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, Nix is ready to go. They feel a little I feel like a little things are a little unstable here. It might be time to move on to the next state.
Understood. So as Zarvolg and Yvain, you guys are leaving the Cobalt Vault as it. Oh no, you're gonna go talk to Gloria. Zarvolg, you receive a sending. Essentially says, Earthbreaker Broom will proudly receive whoever wishes to accept the rewards due to your Warwick Accordant for their victories.
Oh,
from some unknown player. And at that point, yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, I can respond, right?
Yeah, you can respond.
All right. Well received. The Aurora Concordant will arrive to very humbly accept whatever rewards are offered.
Excellent. Do you want to take a turn into Gloria's study?
Yeah, I think I should real quick, just because it came up early in game for Zarvolg. I think especially since it doesn't seem like I mean, I don't know yet that people have talked about leaving, but we obviously didn't plan to be in Vasselheim for long. So the fact that that name came up and she's here seems like the opportunity that he needs to take to have that conversation.
Absolutely. You open the door to see, again, the same beautiful room full of constellations. This is, Yvain, you might find your eyes sort of like just like go big in here, as this is like the definition of your whole situation, where it's like it's about the celestial bodies, but it's also very booky. So it combines sort of the naturalism of constellations in the night sky with rhetoric. So this is like probably you open it up and this is like your dream laboratory, your dream mage study as you open the door, and you see her sitting sort of standing in the middle of the room and just kind of like looking up into the stars, like a little wispy eyed. This is an appearance. This is something that you wouldn't recognize Yvain, but Zarval, you've seen Yvain do this often whenever she casts divination or any of those kinds of spells where she's just kind of like lost in space, like kind of like looking up and not really conscious. And a moment later, she kind of blinks a couple times and says, "Oh, hello, welcome, welcome." And she scatters all of the floating orbs away. And she says, "You must be Zarval and Yvain. Your silence spell is on you, Yvain. I was told that would happen."
Sorry.
That's okay.
It made it all go away. It was so interesting. I can't do that, but I have smaller maps actually. Yeah, yes, we're Zarval and Yvain. I'm so sorry. Yes, we are. We are.
You said my name. You know who I am.
Not terribly. I just kind of, divination. I wanted to see if I was going to get any more guests today, and I had two, so I was waiting on you.
Well, that's fair.
Please come in, get a seat, come sit. She'll snap her fingers and two chairs will roll forward. What can I do for you, Mr. Zarval?
Long before I had any idea who you might be, where you might be, or really much of a thought about this continent, I was told to find you. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't remember who told me.
Planewalker Rin. Planewalker Rin told you.
Do you know Planewalker Rin?
Yeah, Planewalker Rin is a close colleague.
I believe at some point she asked me to find you.
Oh, excellent. Whatever for.
And he just kind of smiles and nods his head. I couldn't tell you. She didn't give me a lot of detail aside from the people that I was supposed to mark along the way. I'm guessing you're not, but I don't suppose you're the priestess I'm supposed to find, are you?
Oh, I'm no priestess, but I am the world's leading expert on divination magics.
And just
did she do the card thing? Is that what this is? Did she do the card thing? The magician and the juggle and the hangman and the fool and all that.
Yes, she did do the card thing. That's correct.
Okay. We do cards sometimes. Me and Rin. It's tarot's fun. I guess if I was to interpret the high priestess, I guess technically, symbolically, I could be indeed a high priestess of sorts. I am knowledgeable and the divines and such. Could be possible.
Actually, that's an idea. Maybe since I don't know exactly what I'm looking for you for, maybe you do the cards. Could you do a reading for us?
Oh, I could do a lot better than the cards. She says, and she kind of like sits straight and says, "What questions would you ask?"
And Zarval kind of looks at you, Yvain.
I'll give you 3 questions for a friend of Rin's. Any 3 questions?
Ask about the Empire. You should ask about your people. A path to freeing your people.
All right, well, that'll be one. I guess let's start with the reason that we're here. The group, I travel with a small group. I think you're familiar with some of them. They've been escorted out earlier today.
Or we could use the direction where We could use a bit of direction. Honestly, we're having some troubles.
Well, you've come to the right place. I'm very good at finding answers, or at least cryptic riddles that I can interpret into answers.
We're a little scattered and a little splintered at the time. Will we find something cohesive?
Will you find something cohesive, as in like one day?
Ooh,
As in one day soon.
Ah, I see. She will kind of like blink a couple of times, and sort of like look up and like sort of like look back at you. And she'll say, "It is a cause that unites your group. You must find your cause, and it seems you're already on the path to finding it. You wanted to take down a slavery empire, I think is what you said."
Oh, yes. As you can see, I am a hobgoblin, was raised in the south of Tal'Dorei, and there is an empire there. I don't know that I would call it a slavery empire, but there's a militant authority there that brings people by force under military service. Sort of my, I suppose, long-term goal to free those who wish to be freed from that nation.
I am told that the best thing for unity is a cause. We must bring a cause forth, uh, something to fight for, or something to gain. Uh, Perhaps there is a benefactor that you might aid who has a cause you believe in. I'm getting a very important sense of a cause to be fought. You are at a hump of sorts in your journey. You've accomplished much, but in this moment don't have direction. You must find this direction.
All right. Thank you very much. I believe we have one final question. Any
You
ideas,
could ask
Yvain?
too.
Do you want to ask if there's something we can do to help Ember? I don't know.
Actually, did you just
Down?
give us permission to ask too?
Yes,
we've
two more
only asked
questions.
My friend, and he'll reach over and kind of smudge the whatever it is that she has covering the makeup that she has covering her mark. He'll smudge it off of her head and say, "Is this overcomable?"
It is. We already know it is. I know it is.
I am getting a very dark presence. A dark presence is laid this upon you. But fear not, that dark presence, I'm getting the feeling of a mother, perhaps? I'm seeing an image of like a mother steering a child. I don't know what that means entirely, but what I am gathering is that this dark force that has done this to you, it sees great things for you in the future. It sees great potential. It wishes to move forward. But I keep coming back to this mother thing, this mother of like holding a child, maybe from like before a river or before off the side of a mountain, like protectively almost. I hope that means something.
Yeah.
All right, I think
Feel free to ask your last question.
I think I have a final question, Yvain, if you don't.
I was going to ask if there was anything we could do for Ember, but
Oh,
if you've got a better question,
No, I was going to add something similar. That maybe includes that. We've recently lost sort of our, let's call them our moral compass. And we're having trouble finding our way. Is I suppose this might be a little bit of a repeat of the earlier question, but for the five of us, is there a unified way forward that everyone can find fulfillment and comfort?
He thinks. He says, indeed. And it brings us back to the first one you said. You need a cause, but perhaps more specifically, you need someone to follow. Maybe there is someone who has a cause. Okay, yes, it's becoming clear. There's something is coming clear to me. There are heroes past, of many kinds. Maybe. Perhaps, indeed, what your group needs is someone they trust to follow. You have this cause before you. Maybe there is someone who you might follow as a patron of sorts, someone you might pledge to. I'm getting the sense that this moral compass was one of reverence, of holiness and such. Yes.
Yes.
Not so much a leader, but someone who had strong morals and pointed the group, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm seeing two things. I am seeing a young blonde girl who follows the warrior. She has what the warrior had. If you are looking for a moral compass, perhaps this person is where you might invest some interest. But on the other hand, I am also seeing a mentor, someone to sort of take you by the hand, someone to lead you forward. I'm seeing a man with white hair. He has a dark past, and his eyes are circles. It's somewhere one of you was meant to go but never went to. He also, what is this?
Whitestone.
I just indeed saw a white mountain. That could Whitestone. Yes, Whitestone in the north of Tal'Dorei. Perhaps there's something to be seen there. That might work well with your cause, but give you someone to follow that is worthy of it.
His eyes are circles. Yvain, is Percy still alive?
Do I know? I mean, he just a festival. I feel like everyone would know if he'd passed on. I feel like it would be a national tragedy, like a huge day of mourning, wouldn't it be?
History check to see if you know about the whereabouts of Percival Derolo, von Frederickstein, whatever.
Doesn't he wear spectacles, circular spectacles?
So it was a history check. Let's see.
Yeah.
15.
15. Percival Derolo, as far as the world at large is aware, is alive and well. He sits in Whitestone and serves on the cabinet of Whitestone, not as its leader, but one of the members of the council. He is a famed inventor, where he raises a number of children alongside his wife, Vixalia Derolo, coin mistress of Tal'Dorei.
I'm going to have a cookie. Sorry.
All right.
Well, I hope
I was able to help. I loved divining for you, and maybe I'll get lucky enough to see you soon.
Thank you very
Can I,
much. I've
can I
grown quite fond of diviners.
can I show you something that I think is quite wonderful?
Of course.
And she's going to show her the copy of the divination spell that she took from Bahamut's. And then she's going to also show her like her star chart and then the cool star chart that has Bahamut and then Tiamat on it. So this is my work, right? I'm starting. I'm like a baby diviner, but this is one that I found. This horrible this white dragon. Well, he was trying to get to the circlet that we brought into the city, which I'm assuming that the temple will take care of. But look, like okay, so don't look at the evil sister dragon, but look at how nice Bahamut looks. So I've been looking to find him in the sky. And anyway, so yeah, that's what I do.
She'll do one of these and like flip her finger. You're gonna see a mage hand carry out what looks to be it's a book. It looks like a spell book. She puts it into her hand and she'll like flick her finger, and the mage hand will open the book, and you're gonna see that the pages are each and every one of them is a different, highly intricate star chart, and very advanced to the point where like the ink like has a bit of like an iridescent sheen to it, and sort of as if stars are like bouncing between the different constellations, showing some kind of code under the words or underneath the stars themselves. And like page to page, that's her entire spell book is just like these highly intricate star charts.
How do you read all that? That's incredible.
Well, when you have been divining after a while, at least for me, I actually don't read so good. I wear glasses, but boy, do I look at the stars a lot. And after a while, it starts to become almost more easy to interpret than words on a page sometimes. So I like to inscribe my spells under spell charts because it helps me keep track of the constellations as well.
That's so cool. All right, I'm going to stop fangirling now, but that's really cool.
And I sense that you have, well, it's not much sensing at this point. You've shown me all of it, but you clearly have the spark of divinity within you as well. Well, divination, anyway. Have you had any interest in becoming a seer or apprenticing?
I have, but I'm a druid.
Hmm.
Right? So the way I do things is really foreign to everyone except people in Livengorn, which is sort of why I've done what little studying I've been able to do.
Well, the Arcane Panasophical accepts all mages. We definitely steer towards the Arcana, but I sense that there is great talent within you, that you have had communion with perhaps many entities that most at your level do not. So just a thought. Perhaps if you had time or the ability to return here often, I might be willing to accepting applications for apprenticeship.
The ability to return here often, but my friend can do a teleportation circle, but I don't know if you have those here.
Oh, of course we do. Of course we do.
I know that. I feel like were there restrictions? I don't know. I learned something about Vasselheim that said there were some restrictions about just doing arcane things, but maybe it was all in a dream. Honestly, I've been very foggy lately, and my memory is maybe not great.
That's all right. Take some time and think. I see things, and I see that you have the sight.
So she's like Bob, like the silliest little curse. She's like, "Wow, you're wonderful. Thank you. Oh, I think you visited Glint and Ember. I think that you said they came early. Anyway,
yes, I remember them. They were
right. Yes, sometimes I do understand. So, Ember has a very great heart, and he loves me very much. and I clearly need someone to teach me to act right because I just had a moment that was terrible, and I am very happy to accept the punishment. But look, I get it, right? Fine, but he, filled with righteous indignation on my behalf, he is normally a bit. She's gonna kind of look at herself a bit more measured. He's normally a bit more measured, a bit. Um, and
Is he?
yes, I feel like yes. I feel like it's just been a lot lately. And I'm sort of coming to terms with the necromancy, you know, when they use animal bones and such, which he uses primarily. It's just kind of I do understand if you were having like because I would have I do understand. I'm sorry if we've been so much for you, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
Well,
All right.
I will thank you for saying so. And thank
We
you for saying
thank you
so.
very much. We thank you very much for taking the time to see us. We understand you're closing up soon. And Yvain, we've been summoned to see Earthbreaker Grun.
Then we should go there immediately.
Right. Yeah. Just to wrap that up, just to get that a little out of the way, you guys make your way across. You find your way to the proving grounds. Would you want to go try and gather the party for this little meeting, or
I think we should.
okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
I
you
mean, it
guys
sounded
head
like we
back.
were summoned as a party, right?
Yeah. So if you guys go back to the tavern. I think you'd find the three best friends still hanging out. Um, yep, all hanging out there. Um, Gumbo is like sitting there with the cat, and you guys walk in. He like turns his attention to you as he strokes the cat.
So I was hoping I could get more cows. Oh, welcome back.
I'll say in this moment, Beverly actually comes in too, looking a little like haggard, like, "Oh, there you all are. I got so lost looking for all of you. You guys just oh well. Hi.
It's been an
Oh, hi.
eventful day.
Sorry, Bev. Nix, do you have
Oh,
a
that's okay.
cat now?
It's Lady Cat.
Yeah, she's been there. She's been there since this morning. She's here at lunch. You don't remember her?
Are you just going to keep picking up animals along the way then?
Probably not, but
What if
maybe.
she
I'm not
does?
gonna leave
What do
it.
they
You
do?
know.
As bad as Yvain collecting people.
I
All
mean, at
right,
least he
then.
knows the right of it. So you understand the matter. You plainly stated it. So I suppose moving onward.
Well, the group of us have finally been invited to go and be recognized for our contribution to the safety of Vasselheim and the continent. Everyone coming.
Yeah,
Certainly.
sounds like a lot of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun. I like it. That's funny.
Ember,
Okay.
are you good to accompany?
Yeah, yeah. As long as we're not going to the Dusk Meadow.
None of that today, I promise. And he kind of puts an arm around Ember's shoulder. If anything, it'll be more of me getting kicked in the head.
I'm not certain that I'm okay with that either. Actually, general behavior that I've seen since we've been here does not make this a destination worth visiting.
Fair enough. Then let's say our goodbyes and we'll be off.
get paid and get the hell out.
Right, I should probably ask someone about teleportation circles, see if I can get a rune sequence from someone.
Do we not want to go to Pyra?
Oh god.
We don't have to. That was on the menu before. It does not have to be on the menu now. It would just suck to get all the way back to Tal'Dorei and then to be like, oh shit, I wanted to go to Pyra, and then we couldn't get there.
I'm happy to leave.
All right.
The sooner the better. There has been nothing here worth revisiting.
That's fair.
Well,
Been on a great deal of road trips. We still have an employment opportunity in Singorn. I'd still like to visit there at some point, and we were asked to go by the Speaker of Memory. There could be work there.
This is going to complicate things enormously. You know that, right?
Well,
Particularly if you're going to keep wiping off the makeup, sir.
Oh, well. I just want a little clarity, that's all.
That's fair. I'm fine.
Earthbreaker Groom.
Let us go.
right, let's
Earthbreaker.
great
right.
it up.
Let's grade it up. Okay, you guys find your way to the Braving Grounds to run into Earthbreaker Groom.
It's not me, right? This dude is weirdly old and weirdly ripped, right? Like I'm not making that up.
No, it's kind of hot, really.
You know, whenever you season
you're right.
firewood and all the moisture goes out, and it's just slabs of hard wood. That's him. He's like a slab of teak.
All right, you guys. Okay, you guys go to the whatever the hell it's called. You go to the Trial Forge. You go to the Sacred Temple of. Sorry, I don't know why that joke took me so off guard. You go to the Trial Forge, the big beautiful temple of Cord, the god of war, to find the weirdly old yet ripped Earthbreaker Groom awaiting you all in all of his hotness. You all approach, and he turns around and looks at you all. You nod. He says, "Faring well in our city."
Yeah. We've had a little time to rest up. We appreciate the hospitality of the city thus far.
Very good. Well, we have gifts to bestow. It's hard to think of what could possibly suit the great achievements of your group, but we have done our best. There are two things we wish to impart on you. Well, three things, actually. The first of which is one perhaps of convenience. Through your story and your telling, you've spoken of your need for flight. And so we present to your group with this. And he'll wave, and one of the warriors will come out of the back with this rug over his shoulder, and he'll put it down in front of the group. It's this beautiful purple ornate carpet. He says, "We grant you the carpet of flying."
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Incredible.
I have a name.
Bucket list item.
The whole party's like, "Oh,
Well, campaign over then.
campaign over, we did it! We got the carpet!"
Until we've all had a ride.
Yeah, not until we've had her. You get to smile at the camera for the end of the session, don't worry.
Okay, he says, this carpet is not as fast as some of its other varieties, but it is larger and can hold a great deal of weight. Maybe it should be capable of carrying 3, maybe 4 of you on it. Let alone perhaps some goods you might find on your travels. May it serve you well. And to be clear, this is the 5x7 carpet of flying. It has a 600-pound capacity and a 40-foot fly speed. So whoever wants to be the person responsible for carrying this may do so. He says, simply say the command word to activate it, which is...
I don't remember what it was. You're thinking of the broom word, right?
No, nothing. I'm not going to do the broom word.
It's
He's going to say,
Leviosa.
and it flies. No, he'll sure, why not? He'll say that. He'll go over to you, Ember, and he'll whisper Leviosa in your ear, and he'll say it, just do it. Trust me.
Leviosa.
And it will, and will just sort of lightly float in the air, fully spread. The cat immediately hops on it and kind of does a little spin in the middle and curls up in the middle of the carpet.
I
As it
think
lightly
that was
floats.
quite appropriate. No, I like that.
That's good. We're glad it provides something tactically well. We also heard that, of course. Oh yes, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say to Nix, this cat of yours is pretty sassy.
That's cats. That's cats in general.
I guess that belongs to the cat now. He says, next, we know that you have been waylaid by darker planar entities more than once, and so we would like to give you the ability to banish such a thing should you be accosted by them. And he will wave, and you're going to see actually a priest of the Moonweaver step forward with a case, and she's going to open the case and produce from it this beautiful large silver wind chime. It has a crescent moon at the top as the holder, a little chain that connects it to this wide half-dome spiral that is coated in stars and has a number of wind chimes that sort of float down. He says, while holding this chime, you are to ring its sound and direct your mind towards the entity that you wish to banish. Once a day, you may do so with great effect.
Oh.
And whoever wishes to take responsibility for the chime of exile may go ahead and add that to the inventory.
It's very cool.
Nix?
What? I thought Moonweaver thing was more your thing, Yvain.
Oh, okay, I didn't. Oh, we can also. Sure, I will take it.
All right, you may add it to your inventory. Big, beautiful wind chime. I'll do a little display in VTT for these items, so you'll see them in Roll20 if anyone's up in there, which no one is. So never mind. I will post them instead. So forget all of that. And he says, we have one last thing that we wish to grant. To be one of piety is not easy. Whether you do it out of what is inside you or by the commandments of something greater than yourself, your heroism is appreciated. But know that always the gods do watch you and the gods do stand with you. And let your enemies know this too. And he will wave, and they're going to bring forth this banner. This large banner with a flag that sort of hangs down low over it that is currently just like a blackish gray banner. Doesn't have anything depicted on it. And they hands it to Groon, who then taps it on the floor, and you're going to see that the styling of the rod and the actual banner itself is going to change to be modeled after the Storm Lord, showing the crossed lightning bolts, accompanied by just an iron barred rod. He says, "This is the banner of the Pantheon. Take this
And know that whichever god you should call upon in these fatal moments, you will have their aid. And you will
Wow.
prop it forward.
Goddess.
This item I do need to finish building, but essentially, once a day, it has basically a number of abilities that happen for the group in a radius, and depending on what god you call on is the benefit you'll gain. And you can
That's
choose any of the
fantastic.
That's amazing.
You can
Wow.
hire someone to
Superman.
be your banner boy, basically, and just stand in the back and activate your banner for you.
That feels like a Bev job.
Maybe Bev is your banner lady. Who knows?
Maybe we need Bev to, hit things right now.
Well, I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. I'm pretty open to whatever.
You are part of us and need to be a part of deciding how you want to fit in. What's best for you?
Oh, wow. Okay. Man, I think my story's really wrapped up in my identity, isn't it?
And you can
cool.
change, that can change and grow, right?
Literally. And she'll like change her eyes back to brown. She's like, huh? See? Really coming out of my shell over here. Yeah, so again, I need to create you the banner of the Pantheon, but that now belongs to your party as well. He says
That's
these
awesome.
these three relics have been chosen to be ones that should suit all of you, and not just one. Your good deeds have been too many to be encompassed into one or even to a set of items. But hopefully, the value of what we have granted you here today shows you how much Vasselheim is in your debt.
We are grateful. Thank you so, so, so much.
Of course.
On that note, in case we need to visit again, or if you have need of us, would it be possible to learn some of the sigils to one of the teleportation circles here?
Of course. Simply pick a temple to the deity that speaks to you, certainly, and you will have their sigil.
Does the Temple of Sarenrae have one?
It most certainly does.
That would do quite nicely.
Very well. Simply head down the streets, and they shall give you what you see. Zarvalk, as I'm sure you well know at this point, the Storm Lord has great plans for you. When you are ready to face the storm, fight your war, return here, and I will set you on the path.
Oh, that's very reassuring. It seems that's been coming up a lot more frequently in the past few days, so we may be experiencing that sooner rather than later. I appreciate your support.
You will not have only my support, but support Cord himself. Much is changing and churning the world. And while a warrior does need his respite, he also does need to be armed properly.
Again, I thank you. Forgive my ignorance, and I certainly understand that it's no substitute. But is there a connection between this holy place and the arena in Iman?
Of course, we worship the same god, and there are teleportation circles that link Amon to Vassal. If you ever wish to return, it sounds like your friend has the means to do so.
Understood. Thank you. Then I hope to see you again soon.
Very well.
Until then, we prepare for war.
Fuck yeah. And he'll like give you one of those like warrior class. And the fucking people go flying against the walls and shit.
Why are you all so cool?
the predator arm grab with Carl Weathers and Arnold.
What's the matter, Zarvog? Aurora Concordia got you pushing too many fences.
Pushing too many crossbow strings.
Your vein got you reading too many books. Oh man. Okay. I fucking love that for Green. That's actually so not his style, but I love it. Okay, what's next? Glenn, you want to go pick up your teleportation circle?
Yeah.
Okay. There's something there too. There's something there for you too, my friend. You go to the Temple of Renewal. Pike Trickfoot is not around, but you can find who would be here. You find a priest by the name of Coraline. This woman with like long golden blonde hair, middle-aged, approaches you. This beautiful human woman. She says, "Hello, Mr. Grimhelm. We were told that you might be returning. How can we help you?"
Oh, I was here to study. I was studying a teleportation circle that's been constructed here. I was hoping to have a few moments to study the sigil sequences.
I see. Yes, right this way. And she will take you into the back where you will see a big, beautiful teleportation circle. And you may take a minute to study its glyphs and forever know how to return to this place if you so choose.
All right. Awesome.
She'll put a hand on your shoulder and she'll say, "Before you go, Mr. Grimhelm, I was given a message to tell you by Lady Trickfoot. She said to come to Whitestone if you wanted to know more, but she has communed with Sarenrae on your behalf. Something to do with what you spoke about and the power of forgiveness. She was a little vague about it. As I understand, it was a private matter. But if you wish to learn more about, I think it was something to be done, some task to be done, that would be of immense service to, she just said immense service. Find her in Whitestone, if you have the time, or maybe just send to her with your arcane magics. And she might tell you more of this communion she had with the Everlight on your behalf."
Interesting. I'll make that my own top priority, and communicate it to my my party. Thank you, Miss Coraline. That was very kind of you to forward that along to me.
Of course. May you ever walk in her light, Mr. Grimhelm.
Of course, and you as well.
He also said, "Tell your warlock friend that we're not all that bad." Okay. Okay. You guys, you get your teleportation circle. Is there anything else you like to do in Vasselheim, or do we intend to return to Tal'Dorei after so very long?
Glint will, head back to the party and definitely mention the Whitestone offer. If we're all ready to go, I can warm up the circle and start casting. I was... go ahead.
You said Whitestone.
Yes. Miss Trickfoot left a message for me in her temple where there's something there of great importance for me to do. If you'd be willing to...
I'd love to go to Whitestone. I've needed to go there since I left Terra, actually.
Everything aligns, as it were.
Can wait for Yvain to go back to Terra, and they're like, "You cheated! Use teleportation as a count." Nah, I'm just kidding.
They boo. Boo!
Yeah,
Boo!
boo. You didn't even use survival. Boo. No. Okay, fantastic. Sweet. All right, you want to begin your first teleport glint? Very exciting time for a
Yeah.
wizard.
We're going to Whitestone now.
We're going to Amon first. I don't have the sequence for Whitestone. We're going home.
Oh, all right, that's good too.
I'm not that good. And yeah, Glint will start casting Teleportation Circle, which
All right.
probably not going to do it in the middle of the street, is not to accidentally have someone take a road trip in traffic across the continents, but we'll find a space to cast it.
Fair enough. You describe you find maybe like a back alley or some real suspicious, and you all see Glint take out this glinting piece of chalk and inscribes a large perfect circle in the ground, draws a number of strange glyphs and connects dots across it. And Glint, as you make that last mark, you complete the last line, this cylinder of arcane magic opens up like a gate. You have a couple of seconds to hop aboard and disappear if you so choose.
Come on through.
We all jump in one at a time, striking different poses. Cat jumps in, the bunny jumps in, the skeleton does some crazy thing in the air. And sure enough, where exactly is your teleportation circle taking you from? Just a moment?
Yeah, just Amon, wherever the one located in Amon would be.
That is actually a very cool place that we're about to go to. Since you bring it up. Where is my Amon page? Oh, there it is. In a moment, I'll just pull up a long forgotten campaign setting. There it is. There. Amon. Big ol' Amon. As quick as a flash. All right, let's see. Oh, that's not. Amon, the city of fellowship. Nix, this will be your first time, so we're gonna take this from your perspective, probably. As you arrive in wherever, some place called Amon, whatever, you and the whole party are gonna find themselves in a most interesting location. You find yourself in this big pyramid-like structure made of pure sapphire. You are standing in the middle of this teleportation circle. A number of the Amon guards turn their heads rapidly and see you all, and just sort of nod and allow you passage, of course. You notice that around this this pyramid, you see in the various four walls of the pyramids, you see all of these teleportation circles, like dozens of them. They're all partially covered so that no one can read them without permission. But there's just like maybe like 8+ of them on every wall. And as you step outside of this massive sapphire structure, you see yourself looking onto this humongous metropolis, Nix. Vasselheim was beautiful. There's no mistaking that. Lyrengorn was beautiful. But this place is like a city on top of a city on top of a city. You see all of these massive walls that lock in giant districts of the city that go up, culminating into a massive white palace that sits above the entire metropolis. There must be, again, those other two cities were beautiful, but there must be hundreds of thousands of people living in this bustling, massive cityscape. It is truly breathtaking to take in here in the twilight, as you can smell the roiling sea salt, and you're also somewhere that is finally half warm. Maybe a little mild, but not so mild that you have to wear these thick hides any longer. You could be free of those now if you so chose. And you find yourself in Amon, the city of fellowship, the capital of Tal'Dorei. All of you are home, as you have dubbed it.
Ooh, step out of the circle before it closes.
Oh, yep.
Zarvog's leg is cut off at the end. He doesn't get up quick enough. No.
Star Trek accident.
No.
Now he's Zarvog the Gimpy.
All right. I say we start by getting a little homemade soup and getting the ring mage back home to his mom.
Which way? There's so many ways. Where are we going?
Oh, it's okay. There's these things called street signs. If you go down this avenue, we'll get there eventually. Minus, give or take a few turns.
Just follow me. I know where I'm going.
And you do, Ember. You are in your favorite terrain more than anybody here. And sure enough, easily enough, you'll make your way out of the Traveler's Junction, which is just getting track of where you guys all are in the city. Oh yeah, not too far. You're in the Erudite Quarter. You make your way into the Central District and along down into the fort. And sure enough, without any interruptions, you are going to find your way back to the Rousing Spark. Long lost, big, beautiful home. And your garden looks like it's seen better days. Nothing a little druidcraft can't fix, but still looks like it's seen better days. And you head on inside to see a bustling tavern where you can all just be at home. And sure enough, you see Miss Emma working away as ever she is. Ember's mother just working away. And she sees you all and kind of like smiles brightly. And she goes, Ember, oh, your friends are home. Welcome, come in. It's so good to see you.
The instant Ember crosses the threshold, he immediately runs to Emma and falls. Just the worst, messy falling fit.
Oh no. She takes it and she's like, oh no, what's wrong? Oh my goodness. And she starts coddling you immediately, like
Tears,
holding you really
snot,
tight.
just a mess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And she's gonna just have you and hold you and just kind of just stroke your head lovingly and just be like, my goodness, what's happened? Oh no. And she there's a moment where she kind of like looks at the rest of your group like, what the heck? Not directing anything at you all, but just like,
Right.
oh my gosh. And when you're ready, Ember, she'll kind of like get you to your feet and we'll take you somewhere a little more private, perhaps, out of the way, maybe upstairs to a quieter room. And we'll stick with that for a minute. She kind of like takes you to like a side room. You know what? She'll take you to the kitchens and tells everybody to get out. Is what she does. Not get out, but the cooks all give you guys a minute. She brings you inside, and just like when you were like a little bit like when you were a little kid. You remember when you were a little kid, and she'd like put you on the table, scrape knee or whatever, and maybe you lean against it now, being a full-grown man. But nonetheless, she leaves you there, and she goes and finds you something sweet to drink and maybe like a little dessert that has been cooked up, like maybe like what has she got? We'll say maybe cinnamon buns were on the thing today. She gives you like a little sweet dessert and like something to drink, whether you want it or not, just so it's there. And she comes back and like, Ember, I'm like, my boy, are you okay? What's happening?
It'll be one of those. trying to speak, and the flippery lip trying to get enough air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was not a great vacation.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you need a second vacation. You need to stay here, and I can just have a little bit of a good
But
time.
but there was one good thing. There was some bad things that were resultant onto that, but there was one good thing.
Yeah.
I had a chance to talk to him. I could ask him 5 things.
Him?
Yeah. My friend Yvain and Glint helped.
Yes. What? My goodness, Umbra. What happened? What was said? What,
Well, the first thing he wanted you to know that he's he's at peace and he is he is waiting for you, but he wants you to be happy in this life first,
uh,
and
she
very much wants you to take your time.
yeah, she puts her hand over her mouth and like the words are immediately overwhelming, and she's right there with you now. She's crying, and she like gives you a hug, and you two have this moment of like shared um solace as you both just kind of cry a little bit to each other, and she pulls back and says, I could never, I could never fully move on from your father. I could never. Oh, I loved him so much.
I know.
I, I'm glad. I'm glad that you got the chance to speak to him. I don't know how, but oh, he
My
was so
my
excited
my
for you, Ember.
friends took a pretty big risk to make it possible. And I asked him if he had any any advice for me, and he was full of a lot of business advice. I'm not certain any of those people are still alive.
She laughs pretty loudly. She goes, that's that. Yep, that was your father then. That was your father. Oh, he was far better at the books than I was, the business savvy side of things. Always
And
had a way with people.
he had he had lots of interesting ways to get around guild fees and that sort of stuff. But I'm pretty certain that oh dear God, his name just left my head. Holy shit!
You don't remember it?
It's a J name. No. The guy from the clasp.
Oh,
Oh,
Jasper, I believe.
Jasper. Yes, I knew it was a
Yeah,
J
Jasper.
name. It just was in my head and disappeared just like that.
All good, all good.
But I'm sure that Jasper has already made those necessary arrangements, so it's not unburdensome.
Yeah, Mr. Jasper has been very, very helpful. He seems to think very highly of you. It sounds like you two have done some business.
We've 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 had a couple of mutually beneficial interactions.
Well,
But It
We've
was.
been very lucky.
He gave me some advice during this trip. There were a lot of things that made me very, very mad. I mean, more than I've ever been before. I started a forest fire.
Oh,
I started a rather big forest fire.
oh, okay.
I I was tired of being chased. They
I
stopped.
see. Oh, oh goodness. Okay. Well, Ember, I I love you. I am so happy that in some way you managed to speak to your father. I we're gonna get through this. We're gonna move forward. You and your friends can stay here as always, and maybe we'll have a proper vacation. You could take some time off. It sounds like you've had an unnecessarily eventful time during your supposed vacation time.
But while some of it was bad, we did do some good stuff. We have a magic carpet. It flies. To, Tonight, when everybody goes, would you like to do a
Oh,
turn around a man?
okay, that sounds like fun.
Maybe,
Wow.
maybe we could, maybe we could offer it to Mr. Andergard.
Her face kind of just like goes a little, cheeks go a little rosy. Goes, um, I, uh, I haven't, um, uh, I haven't seen Mr. Andergard in a little bit of time. I'm a very busy man, I'm sure.
Well, I have some news about about Finch.
Oh, okay. You're gonna
So,
go see him and
you could come along and we could, show off a little bit
oh,
if you'd be
okay.
interested. I mean, if you're not, that's equally fine. We can just do us.
I sure. I'd be interested. You're yes. Yes. I would love to visit the Andergards.
Okay.
Okay.
And I give Emma another great big hug.
Yep. She gives you a hug. Gives you a little bit of almost like a I don't want to use the word exasperated, but a little like overwhelmed. A little overwhelmed. She's like, oh, like this is not how she thought this day would go. We got a lot of information thrown at her, and she just kind of pats you on the back and gives you a smile and gives you a little kiss on the forehead. She says, "I love you, Ember, and you're back home. So you tell the Tal'Dorei Council to stop working you so hard and take some time to yourself."
If you don't mind, I'm gonna make our folks lunch.
Of course, of course. I'm gonna go back out there, and the cooks will come back in whenever you're ready.
Send them whenever. I mean, they've got other people too.
You have the kitchen. It's okay. You have the kitchen. They'll just come in and out here and there just a little bit, but you enjoy the kitchen whenever you're done. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And she'll give you a little smile, and give you like a last little look and like a little wave as if to check to make sure you're okay before she leaves. And then she does. And occasionally the cooks will come in just to do like a little thing here and there. They don't make any grand heated meals or anything. That's all kind of being put on hold at the moment, so you can enjoy a little time cooking. And since you are proficient with cooking utensils, why don't you go ahead and cook us something? Um, what skill do you think would be appropriate for Ember to be utilizing for cooking? performance. Let's see, medicine. Let's see.
Yeah, I think maybe performance.
Okay, sure. Make me a performance check at advantage because you are proficient with intelligence.
And I continued to roll the exact same thing twice. And not particularly well. That's an 11.
An 11. You won't cook anything gourmet by any measure, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. You come out something that's sort of like homemade a little bit. It was nothing too complex, nothing too gourmet. Still delicious, still hot. What do you
Zarbok
think,
wanted
sir?
soup, potato soup,
Sorry.
and some sourdough bread.
Ember serves you all sourdough bread and bone marrow stew. Okay, that's that's the one. Nope, a delicious hearty tavern stew, probably the one that your family recipe involves, which is a lot of there's like beef and vegetables, maybe even like a touch of ale in it a little bit. Very hearty, very delicious. Yes, Yvain.
While Ember is speaking with his mother, can Yvain speak to, like, not necessarily quite, like privately, but Yvain would like to address Glint. You may recall that there's some friction between Alistair and Ember, and I am a little worried that maybe do you think it would be wise if you would maybe speak to Alistair and suggest that he just, not antagonize
Don't be a dick.
him? Yes. Also,
Sure.
in the past, he has sort of enjoyed being cantankerous and threatening people to kill them. Like, he's threatened your life, he threatened Miro's. Let him know that, well, don't worry about it. Hopefully he'll be wise enough not to do it to me. I'd hate for him to start a fight. But that would set Ember off. Like, it set Ember off when he did it to you. Like, this is not me trying to threaten him. This is behavior that he has that makes Ember angry, and Ember's angry. And I worry that if he were to do it while I would roll my eyes, I worry that perhaps Ember would not. Maybe we should preempt that behavior.
Yvain, is that you? And you see Kazadon Sunscale come across the bar over to you. Goes, I knew I recognized that accent. God, darling girl, how are you?
Oh my God, I missed you so much. You look amazing. You always look. I need style help.
Oh, I have your back. You know I have your back. And look, the whole crew is here. Oh, come sit with us. Come sit with us. Oh, did you hear? I have joined the Sparks of Amon.
Oh my God,
no.
lucky. They're so lucky to have
yes.
you. So how did being, were you actually the god of the kobolds, or were you just their de facto leader? How did that go for you?
Oh, darling, go back underground? It was disgusting down there. Never.
I'm so glad for you. I
don't know what happened to them. I assume they just ran off and got eaten by something bigger than me.
A very short reign there.
But a glorious one. What a glorious one.
Who's to say I don't still reign? Huh? Well, come see everybody. Look, everybody's here. And he'll drag you over, and you will see the whole crew is there. Balthazar, Alistair, Camilla, Keljaya, and Shirku are all present, who all sort of, hey, welcome over, come on over, come get a seat.
Greetings.
So welcome. Keljaya will come up to you, Zarvolk, and punch you on the shoulder, and it hurts.
Yeah. he'll kind of do like the like overextended, like right grasp,
the Beastmaster handshake.
Right, and pull her in a little bit and say, "Oh, they're coming along. We're getting ready to go home soon. Are you going to be ready?"
I'm always ready.
And he'll just kind of smirk at her and move on.
Yeah, and she'll do the same. You guys will pretend you're super smooth and just like whatever. Message passed on. Um, uh, Camellia. Well, actually,
Oh, she's in here.
Yeah, Camelia's in here. She's in here. Um, and I don't think yeah, Glint and Nyx. I don't think you two know these guys terribly well, if I'm not mistaken. You see that
Nyx
Yeah,
hasn't met any of them.
oh, Glint, you've met them. Yeah, you knew Alistair. So you know these guys. But Nyx, you see this group of very colorful individuals, who I think will all introduce themselves. So the person who just approached Yvain, you see this big, and the mini is fairly accurate. You see this sort of like heavy set, beautiful brass dragonborn covered in like glowing light blue runes with like fine fabrics draped across his beautiful heavy set body. And he goes, "Oh, who are you? Allow me to introduce myself. I am Karzi to my friends. We're friends now because you know Yvain. Who are you?"
I'm Nyx.
"Well, you are darling, Nyx. I love your hair, may I just say it."
Thank you.
"Well, allow me to introduce you to the troop. This is your troop, but you must meet my troop. Right over here." And he's gonna take you over. You're gonna see this human who is sort of a little, frankly, a little scantily dressed, I guess is the best way to say it. But he's got pieces of armor, very fine armor strung across him, an intense look, hair slicked back. He's got a number of scars across his like shoulders and hands, but he's a rather intense looking fellow. Karzi will say, "This is Alistair de Avenir." Just call him Alistair. He's a little sour most of the time, but we like him well enough. And Alistair will say, "Pleasure to meet you, Nyx."
Hello.
Hello, and it's good to see everybody else. Hope everybody's doing all right.
Alistair.
Of course.
And I'll just reintroduce to everybody. You see this very goth, moody Goliath in like deep rouges and blacks, and he's definitely like staring into his skull. He's pale, even for a Goliath. He introduces himself as Balthazar Bleakskull. There is this very spooky looking furball woman. Looks like a half cow-like woman. Her eyes are completely pupilless, and her skin is deathly gray. But she speaks very sweetly. She's like, "Oh, well, hello. I'm Camellia. It's a pleasure to meet you. Camellia Spring Shower. A pleasure to meet you." She talks to you very sweetly, but there's definitely something deathly and decrepit about her, despite her sweetness. You'll see this very tribal-looking halfling warrioress in very traditional garbs, and she'll introduce herself as Hiljaya Ulue. She'll say, "It's a pleasure to meet you. I am from the deep south, and you have made good friends with this company." And lastly, you'll see Shirku Marine, who looks to be something of a pirate captain. He's got the long, flowing trench coat, a beautiful falchion saber at his side. His facial hair is like designed like the waves. He's got an amulet, and he's just like a really fun-looking guy. And he introduces himself to you as well. Maybe gives you a little kiss on the knuckle. He seems like a charmer. And that's the Sparks of Amon, all friends of your Roar Concordant.
Oh, Gumbo, this is Balthazar. Go introduce yourself to him. I think he'll enjoy your company for a bit.
Oh, very well. And indeed, true enough, after a moment, like 30 seconds, Balthazar is like enamored by Gumbo and his whole situation.
Yeah, and smokescreen established. Once is going to try and take a moment to pull Alistair aside.
Yeah, you pull Alistair aside, and you guys go sit at a table, maybe out on the porch or the balcony, whatever. And he says, "Well, how are you, Glint?"
Doing well. We spent quite a bit of time in Asira, delivering a dangerous artifact that's been bound in Vasselheim. But
How is it? I've never been.
it's impressive. A little overbearing, very intense. We had some interesting communions with the Raven Queen, even.
Truly.
On that note, I just wanted to be upfront with you. Things were rather emotionally taxing for us there, and Mr. Van Zyl is in a particularly teetering, precarious emotional position.
So I noticed.
Yeah, so if you could be maybe a bit less of a dick for maybe a week.
Wow. Message received.
I enjoy it. I think the sparring is fun. It's a nice diversion, but uh, we have started, I think, maybe 2 forest fires in the span of a month.
Oh, and I'm the dick.
Well, you know, it takes 2 to joust.
Right.
All right, I'll not accost the tower longer, since I'm such an asshole. Apparently,
Thank you. How are things with the
is that all
spots?
you? That all you brought me out here to tell me not to be an asshole?
That
He's
was the
going through a
main
really
thing.
tough time, having burnt down 2 forest fire. He feels really bad about it.
Well, it was, I think, the same forest twice, but
Ah,
beyond that, how are things
right.
with the Sparks? How are you?
Well, I was pretty good a moment. No, I'm fine. And he'll tell you, and he said the Sparks of Amon are gaining prominence in Oman. They're doing jobs here and there for different factions. They've done some stuff for, different factions, the clergy a little bit, going after people. He tells you, because I'm looking for any sort of sense of that the one vampire bounty. Have you seen it? The really dangerous one.
Vampire bounty.
Yes, there's a renegade vampire. She's the most dangerous one to have just escaped Amon during the reign of Goldak. Very dangerous vampire. I'm looking for hide or hair of her. I would love to take her down.
Interesting. Well, I don't think I've heard any recent rumors. But that is something I'd be mightily interested in.
Well, hey, back off. You're competition. Don't be a dick.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. Turnabout's fair play. Well, if you ever need any assistance on that front, do let us know. I'd be intrigued, not to step on toes.
A collaboration of sorts, then.
Yes, a collab.
Right. If you can manage to be in my presence for more than 5 minutes, then maybe we have something we can do together.
I find it quite easy, personally. And I'll be in town for some time. I hope. We think we need a third vacation from our second vacation, which was a follow-up to our first vacation, because both ended disastrously.
By all means, take some vacation. Leaves more work for us to get done.
There was also a keep to sort out, and some projects to finish up, and scrolls to scribe, and
subtle brag.
Indeed, humble bragging as they were. I think it's more of a human tradition.
Nice. Yeah, us humans.
You humans, always.
Always us, isn't it?
Truly. I mean, dwarves, we just build something enormously overcompensatingly huge at all times. We're very upfront about it.
You are the only dwarf, in fact, who is upfront about it, Vince, as far as I've met.
Yes, well, I've spent enough time outside of Craghammer to peek in the windows at how things are done, I suppose. But outside of that,
you're not going to tell me about this communion with the Raven Queen. I'm literally a cleric of the Raven Queen.
Oh, right. I really should have not dangled that. So I made something of a misstep, and she corrected me on it, which I appreciate. Elaine was pulled into it as well, but she's a little more cross with her. I can't speak to the specifics. that there's something of a mark involved.
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Have you heard of those coming off?
Yes, of course. Send her my way.
Sure, I'll let her know. You seem to be one of the more reasonable clerics to convene with on the matter. I
Oh,
think
thank
you'll.
you. It's hopefully I'm glad that came through. I know that my personality isn't always the most tasteful, apparently.
Oh, are you still not letting that go? It's been at least 5 minutes.
I'm just getting it out of my system.
Oh, if you need to, by all means, clear the
Getting
air.
all the assholery out of the system, so I don't piss
Walk the
off the
stink away.
warlock.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want to piss off the person who burned down 2 forest fires. We want to be a dick around that individual.
I know, I mean, there's a great many forests here, and most of the city is made of wood.
That's true. Better watch him. He'd burn down his own town.
Probably not. I think there's too many ovens and family members and friends here, but
So it's safe here, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, I think he's going to maybe rage cook for a few weeks.
Ooh. Well, after the whole dragon food thing that happened around here at some point, that sounds good to me.
Oh yes,
But,
I'm going to. Go ahead.
No, yes, I was just going to say, yes, I've heard of the Mark of Death. It's one that most clerics would not care to deal with, but you know that I am of a more, shall we say, morally ambiguous background.
You're used to navigating some of the boundaries of the tenets of your deity.
Gray areas and such.
How do you manage that without her getting angry about it, I suppose?
I just don't raise the dead. That's like the only thing she doesn't like.
What about if one of your friends dies and you bring them back from the dead? Not as an undead, but...
Well, the Raven Queen deals with that in her own rights. You see, she's not only the god of death, she's the god of fate. And sometimes there are people who have a fate more important than their immediate passage. It's rare, but sometimes there are those individuals that she would see return so that their good work will continue. And if that person need pass on before then, despite any rituals that may come forth, she will deal with that in its own time.
How, what's the verdict on animals?
Raising the animals from the dead.
Yes, I was thinking maybe, like a herd of cattle this time around.
Right. Do you want me to read the commandment to you?
If you could, you're more of the clergyman.
Okay, let me just get out my holy book right now. And he'll...
You carry it on that? I didn't even think you had pockets in that number.
I'm a priest. I have to keep it on me. Somewhere. Don't worry about that. I'm at a certain level where I don't need pockets. He'll flip through and he'll go, oh, okay, here we are, page 1. Let's see, where is it? Let's see. Oh, yes! Undeath is an atrocity. Death is too good a punishment for those who pervert the rightful transition of the soul. And he closes the book. How does that sound?
I'm getting a gray area.
Oh, are you? You want me to read it again?
If you
just the first sentence. I won't even read you the whole thing. I'll just read you the first sentence. Ready? Death is an atrocity. 4 words. Well, undeath is an atrocity. There it is. So
now, isn't an atrocity in the classic sense, or we're going back to the root word, such as, awesome is inspiring awe, which can also be terror, but now it's a good thing. It's
considering the context of the second sentence, I would say it is the former.
Okay. So if I use the undead cows to destroy other undead, say, renegade vampires.
Right.
Is that sort of a net even?
You put this head down like on the table because I imagine you and him have had this exact conversation like countless times since he's known
Yeah.
you, and you're just doing it again, and I will pull
dying.
away. As Glenn's like, but hear me out, like or like as this tired debate goes on again, and Alistair, yeah, we will pull back from that. And yeah, we'll end the session there as Glint attempts to convince Alistair as a medium of convincing the Raven Queen, perhaps one day. But we'll see. We'll see.
It's
But yeah, we're in the
only
session.
9 words.
Also,
Across-
we've now established a new magic item. Ryan, he's clearly
Oh, yeah?
wearing boxer briefs of holding.
the boxer briefs.
Yeah.
He doesn't wear underwear. Let's be honest. Look at that guy. You think he wears underwear? Yeah.
Right. Nobody who wears a toga wears underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
The
Look at him.
toga of containment.
Right. Look. Yeah.
Look
There's
at that.
there's no panty line in there.
No, there. You see, he's not gonna ruin the outfit with underwear.
Oh
Come
my god.
Look at those legs. It would be a crime to hide those legs.
Goodness.
What are we
Alright.
doing
Walking
here?
around like that, it'd be so distracting, but all right, I think it's important to be comfortable. And, in the winter in Amon, it's still chilly, but, whatever pleases you most.
He
That's
pleased, as they
hysterical.
say.